It's the first dog that's been in here on the podcast.
Really?
Little Richie goes everywhere with it.
Even on the chopper.
And if he can't, then I'm
We
a
don't
pissed
know.
off motherfucker.
You call
I'll
him
talk shit.
You call him Little Richie.
Little Richie. We were just fishing over here at this pond right down the road, right?
Uh-huh.
And I let him, just run around the park. And there was a lady and some kids over there. And he went and he's like barking at the ducks. So he goes chasing after the ducks. And I'm like, whatever, So I'm like watching him. And I don't see him. So I walk over there. And he's over there kind of like, And this lady's like, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm like, come here, little Richie. Come here. Come on. And she looks at me. I was like, I'm sorry, man. Is my dog bothering you? Yeah, he is. He's scaring my kids. I'm like, he's a puppy.
Yeah.
A 5-month-old puppy. Your kids must be sheltered.
Yeah. Fucking.
And I walked
Yeah.
away. I'm
No,
like,
you-
your kids don't want to pet my puppy? Whatever.
Dog haters.
They are.
Like raising those kids to be shitty humans right there.
Shitty humans.
Yeah.
They're going to be weirdos, right? Because they're going to hate animals. And, serial killers and stuff.
All right, well, we're going, right? All right, so we're live. Even it feels no different than it felt 2 minutes ago.
Not at all.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Hey, get down off there.
he can he can party.
All right. Yeah, shit on the table.
So,
bud.
bro.
Table.
But yeah, so like I was saying downstairs, man, I wanted to have you on the podcast for many years. Kind of waiting for the right.
The dog may not be a good
I
idea.
wonder why the wiener went right to Jason's mouth.
my wiener went right to Jason's mouth.
That escalated quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do appreciate you coming. I actually want to have you on the podcast for quite a few years. Just like I said, Houston is out of sight, out of mind for us here in Dallas. The same way I'm sure you guys feel about Dallas.
Yeah,
so.
that's the way I feel about Dallas. I've talked mad shit about Dallas on Danger Dan's podcast, and I had a
Yeah.
lot of slack from that, but I'll continue that.
We talk shit about Houston too, so it's
Good.
like it's a competitive rivalry but realistically we're all boys when we get together.
Yep.
It's kind of like when the two dogs are barking at each other through the fence, and then you open the gate and they're like, "What's up, man? How you been?"
Kind of like if California gets any of their business in Texas, and
Yeah.
everybody kind of,
Yeah, it's like little brother, big brother. They can talk shit to each other, but no one else can talk shit
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
This dude's rad though.
He probably-
How much bigger will he get?
So he's 7 pounds
Uh-huh.
right now. He's probably going to get about 10 at most, maybe 9. Yeah, we actually had a little episode with him. What was it, yesterday? I'm going to go ahead and say it. So, I smoke a lot of weed at the shop, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if I can say that online, but
It's legal here.
it's legal. Okay, so we go and we leave to go look at this house, right? And we meet the realtor and we're going down the road and he's like really lethargic, passing out, can't really function. And I'm thinking, man, fuck, he must have ate something, right? And she's over there freaking out. It's like, look, we're taking him to the vet right now. We can tell that realtor lady we'll just meet up with her later. So we go to the vet. We go in there and we did like a little preliminary thing. And we're like, he'll be fine, right? So we leave. What did we go do? We went and did something. Went and ate. Still wasn't himself. We went back and come to find out he had ate a big old fucking nugget of marijuana at the shop. And the next morning he was totally fine.
Just high as shit.
Just high as shit. It was $468 later for them to fucking tell me that. Oh my God. It was pretty funny.
I'd love to have a dog, but I travel so much that I tried to get a dog during COVID, and my wife kept telling me, "He's like, I'm not taking care of it. I'm not taking care of it." I'm like, "It'll be easy." And then as soon as I had to go on my first little run somewhere a week or something, all the drama started. Me and my wife are fighting, like legit fighting, not physically, but
Yeah.
But
The dog shitting all over the house.
well, it's not even that. It's just she would be a great dog mom, but she said, "I'm not taking care of the dog."
She wasn't prepared, right?
Yeah,
Mentally
yeah.
prepared to take care of
Exactly.
the dog.
So I just had to rehome the guy. I don't know.
That's a bummer, man.
Well, dogs are like something that if you have like a shop, your station, or a routine,
Yep.
I feel like it's more suitable for that kind of lifestyle. But when you're constantly traveling,
Yep.
Constantly under the gun and pressure and stuff, it just turns out it's hard to be consistent with them, But I don't know.
He's got pretty, consistent situation. Like I go to the shop in the morning, he hangs out the shop, and then whatever, and shits all over my shop until I can get him trained. But the grass patch is so far away and it's so hot.
Yeah.
And half the time I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just pick it up. But
Yeah.
I do need to train him not to shit in my shop. For the most part, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're doing okay with that. Hopefully he doesn't shit on your table.
If he does, dude, I'm
right.
recording it. Just for the,
You better.
just for the, I'm gonna let it happen.
Make a fucking sticker out of it.
But so man, how do you did you grow up in Houston? Are you from there originally or what?
No, I'm from a little town called Homedale, Idaho, outside of Boise, about 50 minutes outside of Boise.
Real?
Well, about 2,500 the We grew up at the base of the foothills. We used to go out there and ride four-wheelers and shit like that. And
It's like 20, like where at in vicinity, like east, west, north.
so if you're in Boise and you go towards Oregon,
Okay.
I'm out in the kind of the middle of nowhere,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
in the middle of all that. And
You're kind of close to the border then, huh? Of
right?
Oregon,
Yeah,
right?
we go across the border to gamble because
Yeah.
the Oregon lottery is way cooler, and the topless bars are over there and all that shit.
You see that they're trying to that part of Oregon, like 2/3 of Oregon wants to secede to
Yeah,
Idaho.
I've seen something about that, and that may happen.
It
may
seems like
happen.
it's actually gaining traction.
Well, it's actually it's the west side of Oregon that actually has nothing to do with the east side of Oregon. So East Oregon's like Idaho. West side is like liberals and fucking Portland and Seattle, and there's so many people and so much population there that they can do that.
I wonder how that's going to go down the line of just in general because of there being such a difference between rural America and city life and how they don't. You kind of need both here and there. Some policies work better in certain types of environments like city and
Right.
whatnot. But it's crazy when that's glossed over, or how do I say it? Policies that are made for a city are then enforced across rural lands.
Right.
It doesn't really apply or work there.
Correct.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it just seems like the whole thing needs to get a rewrite. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't know where they're going to draw the line either. Because there is a very rural area in between, let's say, Eastern Oregon to Seattle or Portland per se. And right up the middle, you got Hermiston, which is, there ain't nothing out there. It's all bomb fields and shit out there. They got nuclear sites out there everywhere. And, they'd probably split it right there, most likely, and just it doesn't even fucking matter, really. There's hundreds of miles of nothingness right there. Just put the line right there and whatever.
So anywhere is good.
Yeah, anywhere is probably good in that area.
I don't know if I'll be able to do it on this trip, but I was wanting to ride so I was going to ride the California coast from San Francisco north, and then once I get to right before you cross into Oregon, I'm going to cut in and do Grants Pass and start moving towards Crater Lake and all
I'm
that.
very familiar with all that, yeah.
Because I've never ridden or driven any of that. I've done the coast of Oregon a handful of times, and I feel like because Oregon's one of those states that pumps the gas for you.
They do. I was a gas attendant growing up when I was 16.
And that shit
and
is
then
so
I worked at a head shop too at the same time. Because Oregon was one of the first ones that ever let pot go legal,
For real.
And Colorado was, but it was on the verge of that, when I was 17, 18 years old.
Didn't Oregon go full buck wild? Everything
buck wild, everything, yeah. So that's the big deal. That's the big deal with all of that. And if they do actually secede to Idaho, become Idaho, well, Idaho doesn't allow all that shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how them areas and them counties are going to deal with that, because they're making all this money. There's so many people in business selling pot right now over there. They secede to Idaho, they ain't be doing that shit.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to fare with just. We just need to become legal across the board. I don't even know why the hell.
Well, it's just a matter of time.
I feel like politicians are using it as some kind of thing to grounds to stand on or run on. It's just fucking make it legal, dude.
But you have to think about it like this, though: is them politicians, they're getting older.
Yeah.
Our generation. How old are you? 41.
Yeah, 41.
Okay, so we're getting old enough to be in house now, right? So our mindset is different than their mindset. And once we get in there, dude, it's all going to be over with. I'm telling you, it's all going to be different.
The people in power just haven't figured out how they're going to make money off of it, so they're like, fuck that, no one else is making money.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, fuck it. We ain't making money, no one's making money. Which is a bullshit way to look at it.
So what brought you to Texas then?
In 2008, Hurricane Ike hit Galveston.
That's right.
Well, actually, I wasn't supposed to come to Houston. I was supposed to go to Turks and Caicos, and I was all down for it because I was living in the north end of Boise, beautiful home up in the north end, and I wasn't leaving for fucking 25 years, ever. And skating a lot every day. That was my main source of transportation. On Tuesdays, we'd have like skate night up at the bar, the Blues Bouquet, and you pay $3.50 for one beer, and you get to skate all night for free. Plus, they had a punk rock band playing.
Oh hell yeah!
That's what I was
cool,
living.
yeah.
And then at that time, my buddy Shane called me, and he's like, "Man, fucking Hurricane Ike just hit Turks and Caicos." And he's like, "Dude, we're fucking going." I was like, "I'll fucking go to Turks and Caicos. You're goddamn right, I'll go." And then I was all right, I'm down. Then he calls me like 2 days later. He's like, "Fuck it, we're going to Houston." I'm not going to Houston. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm moving to Houston.
Yeah.
I don't want to move to Houston. That's not where I, want to go. And he's like, dude, it'll be a couple months, and if we do good, then we'll stay down there. But if anything happens, I'll just send you back home, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine, fuck it, so I'll go. So my job ended there. I was doing vinyl siding at the Mountain Home Air Force Base out there, and that all ended, right? Said, fuck it, I'll go. So I went. Me and my buddy Jason and Shane in this truck. I flew down to Florida, met Shane because he lived in Florida at the time, and we drove from Florida to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I just fucking, it was hell, man. Like, honestly, the first week there, we had to stay in Brenham and drive to Galveston every day, basically, because there was no hotels anywhere because everybody was displaced.
Yeah.
And then we find a place down on Telephone Road, and basically just came down here for hurricane cleanup, and one thing led to another. We got a badass spot, living large, paying at the time $1,600 a month for rent with a pool and a 4-bedroom house, huge detached garage and all this. And I was like, kick ass. Fuck it, I'll stay for, a little bit longer. And then everybody moved out. And then left me to this fucking house. I couldn't pay $1,600 a month by myself. At the time I didn't even have a car. I was stranded basically at this house. Luckily, I was helping the landlord was the dude across the street, helping him take care of his wife because she had cancer.
Ooh.
And he was also a drummer. So I'd go over there and play his drum set, and we'd go to shows together and stuff like that.
Did you put your nutsack on his drum set?
No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't a rival situation.
Okay.
So he said, man, fuck it. Just stay there. Take care of the place. And whatever happens. And if you need to move in, then just move into my place. I got a room for you, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, one thing led to another. I moved to Galveston, and then I scored a good job and joined a band, and then fucking, it's history from there, man. And then did that job for 10 years, and then I was making more money in the garage than I was going to work, building motorcycles, and said, fuck it, and just started my own shop.
Where did the motorcycles come and play? Were you always fucking with them up in Boise, or did you introduce that shit down here?
It's a weird shit. So I used to build Volkswagens, Volkswagen Corrados to be specific, not just any Volkswagen, but the Corrado. And I know everything about the whole pinout, ECM, everything on those cars. It's crazy. But the thing is where I'm from in Idaho, it was a different scene up there, right? We got a lot of white guys. Not that I'm racist or anything like that. There's a lot of white guys up there. I come down here, I didn't know how to speak Hispanic, so I was getting fucked on all my parts, basically. I was a new guy, and it just kind of sucked, and it wasn't the camaraderie that I was looking for. And I always knew, being a kid, my mom was kind of always, messing around with the biker clubs and those dudes, and I said, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. So I bought my first Sportster, Ironhead, and I just took it apart. And that was back in 2013. And I knew nothing about it, and it was crazy because I felt naked. I had this bike, and I didn't know what to do. It's like first time in my life, I was like, holy shit, I don't know nothing about this,
Yeah.
And took it apart, and then one of my old friends, Bob Miller, he helped me put it together, and he showed me everything he knew, and basically we created a friendship over the Sportster, and then I sold the Sportster. It was a badass bike, and I sold that and got myself into a big twin that I still have today, and the rest is history. I just fucking started meeting people and selling parts on Craigslist. Basically, is how it started. I meet people and they'd come over to my shop or my house and, man, that's fucking rad. You do that for me? And I was like, well, I don't see why not. Because I was building my own shit at the time. And that's just kind of...
That you built that one that Zombie had, right? They had that rebel flag in black and gray on the top.
I built that out of my garage.
That thing was probably my first, like... Because I was telling you earlier, I didn't come up in the vintage style chopper scene or era. So hanging out with him and seeing that bike, I was like, dude, this is like... I could get down with this. Like the stance, the look.
That little, that muscle chop. Yeah, that's fucking bad. Yeah.
And so even to this day, I think that like that chopper, its stance and its look still impacts me now whenever I'm designing and customizing. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Yeah. And I mean, but because it's like that's whether that was like, you know, not to say anything indifferent about it, but that's the first time I saw something like that in person that I paid attention to.
Oh, right.
So that's why it resonated with me, regardless of what was innovative or not innovative, but it was...
It was that attack stance.
Yeah.
You know, like your dyno, you would sit on it like a dyno.
It felt like what I would call now a tough guy chopper, but still kind of small. Mm-hmm. Not too stretched out and crazy long and shit, so...
Did you see that 117 Evo I built that with the fairing and the lower valance?
Black one?
Isn't that the one you just did recently, right?
Yes.
Like you had it at Lone Star.
I had it at Lone Star, yes. So that bike reminds me of Zombie's bike.
Yeah.
And I did actually model that bike a lot after Zombie's bike, but I wanted to put a little bit more to it, like make it more of a club style chopper than Zombie's bike was. And dude, for both of those bikes, I think if you sit them right next to each other, fuck.
Well, what was it? What would you say got you into that genre of motorcycling, considering how much is out there, especially in Houston?
Okay, so what really got me into it is one of my buddies, actually. I was at Bimbo's one time. Bimbo's is a spot that we hang out at. And this is when I still have my Corrado. And I would still hang out with people that, you know, were in the chopper scene and just didn't have a bike, you know. And so I'd go up there, and my buddy Paul had this bitchin' 73 shovel head with this 23-inch tire on the front. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't know what that was. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I've been mechanically inclined my whole life.
Yeah.
And I've always been looking for something that I could like sink my mind into. And I seen that, and I was like, that's fucking bad. Something got me. Like something just got a hold of me, and I couldn't shake it. And and that's what kind of prompted me to sell the Corrado and buy that Sportster. But I didn't know what I was buying. I thought I was buying a shovel head. It was an iron head. Yeah. I got fucked. Right?
Yeah, you did.
I think a lot of people's done that.
Yeah.
But whatever. I paid $4,500 for this fucking... I would never spend $4,500 for a sports. I don't give a fuck if
Money
it's
pit.
fucking the baddest sports you've ever seen in your life.
They have some cool iron heads, but yeah.
They do.
Back then,
I'm not spending $4,500 on an iron head.
They hit you over the head back then.
So that's what kind of got me into it. My buddy Paul Passo. And he still actually comes to the shop and hangs out, and so I just dove into it. Just like my mind, everything just consumed my life with this vintage Harley Davidson deal. And it just I learned a lot. I did a lot of research and made a lot of mistakes and fucked up a lot of shit.
At this time when you got into it, who was kind of like I wouldn't say players, but who were the guys down in Houston area? Because you're kind of one of those guys now.
There was nobody. It was so Paul and then my buddy Eastlos 49. He's been doing it for his whole life,
Yeah, yeah.
So it was him and Paul hanging out together because they were really the only ones that were in vintage Harley Davidson. And then my friend Buddy, he had an old shovel head that belonged to his dad, but he was riding at the time, and I was like, man, hey, that's a shovel head. We should hang out, Yeah. And so it was me, Buddy, Paul, Carlos, and Buddy's uncle, the Dog Pound. I call him the Dog Pound, Danny Dog. Have you met Danny Dog yet?
I think so. Old school guy.
Wears a Confederate flag shirt.
Yeah.
That's
he's
the Dog
in all
Pound,
the videos.
homie.
Yeah, he's in all the Nitty Gritty videos, man.
Yeah.
So yes, he is. The drag race videos.
Yeah.
You can't fucking miss him. Anyway, so him too was part of that, and he had an old bike, an old chopper, Honda CB750, and we all just ride together, man, and then they kind of fizzled out, and I went my own path. I went my own way. I knew there was more there for me, and I just try to exploit it the best I could for myself, and that's where I'm at today.
Oh, that's. I mean, there's so much that I felt like when I first came into all this, and most people don't really hear me out on this, but when I got into the Dyna FXR culture, it partied alongside the chopper culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they still do.
Yeah, it still
They still do, yeah.
And so what happened was the Dyna and the chopper, or the Dyna and the FXRs, when I started hanging out in different parts of Texas, you know, I'm at Nitty Gritty, but I'm hanging out with all the Houston dudes that rode Dynas and FXRs.
Yep.
And vice versa, blah, blah, blah. So you're like, the FXR and Dyna is what got me a close and around the chopper community. And then eventually, you know, I haven't quite took the plunge yet, but at the same time, like I understand it. I see it more. I appreciate it a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
I think with a chopper, and I have to say, you know, I still get intimidated by mechanics and stuff like that. I feel like the chopper for me is a safe place because it's so easy to work on.
Yeah.
And you can weld and do whatever you need to do and paint, and it's so easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're fucking with a brand new bagger, like a, you know, what are they called? ST, you know, the Dyna STs or whatever they're called. I don't even know the fucking name, but, so yeah, I'm scared. Those intimidate me.
Yeah.
You know, but for a chopper, that shit's easy. You know, riding a chopper's easy. You know, the gas tank's 2 bolts and a fucking petcock. You know, and the fender's 4 bolts. You know, and a sissy bar. And you know, it's just I feel like I can tower above that.
Yeah.
And not fuck anything up. Even the motor. You know.
I was explaining to somebody once. It's like because I come into all this stuff, cars, everything, into the fuel injected era. So going back to carburetors, it's scary and daunting because it feels more complicated than it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems more complicated than it is. It's not, but it's kind of like...
See, with fuel injection...
A fuel injector looks so like I understand that to my life and things I've grown up around. A carburetor and all these little fucking screws and doodads, I'm like...
Yeah.
Bro, like, this is more complicated in like, behind closed doors. But in theory, this thing looks more complicated, so, you know. So
with the carburetor, yes, you can fuck up a carburetor for sure. Fuel injection you can fuck up too, but you're not fucking with a fuel injection.
It's thinking for you, you know.
Yeah, it's that's all automatic.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do to a throttle
Can't
body?
fuck it up.
Really. You can adjust the butterflies and stuff, but you can fuck up a carburetor.
Yeah.
But if you're dedicated enough, and there's so many YouTube videos out there and shit you can look up, dude, it'd be hard to fuck it up.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like, I mean, it's shit, I can sit there and tell you how to rebuild an S&S in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I started, because you were fucking with that S&S carb I got downstairs. I haven't messed with any kind of jetting type stuff like that. So when you said that this is where it needs to be, but you have too big of a jet in here, it makes sense considering the hell yeah brother I got it from.
Wanted to fucking put it up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how you do that.
Yeah.
You fucking you put a big jet in there and you're riching it out and it's just
Yeah.
You know, that's just
doesn't that like foul out the plugs over time?
Hell yeah, it does. I'm surprised you haven't yet.
Oh, I have, yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
yeah, it's
an old
way
truck.
too rich. So you're probably, I'm going to guess right now, without even taking that carburetor off, you're probably running a 74 or a 76 main, and then a 30-31 intermediate jet. From what I can see, the sound, my adjustment in, because like I closed it all the way.
Yeah.
And it ran great. It shouldn't do that. It should be way too lean.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's kind of like to me it's fun though. Like so all this stuff, like going down this path, like taking this trip I was telling you guys about earlier.
Yeah.
The longest trip I've ever done on, even though it's a twin cam motor, it's a carbureted bike basically.
Yep.
It's a chopper. I'm living off a sissy bar.
What year is it?
The 84 FXR chopper, but it's a twin cam. I put a twin cam motor in it.
What year motor?
Pretty damn new. It's a 2014.
But
He's carbureted.
He
I
carbureted.
switched it over.
SNSG.
No, Mikuni, baby.
Mikuni, 42 or 45?
42.
42. Good.
Yeah.
See, Mikunis for me, they're the best for performance by far. But when it comes to adjusting and them being fucking assholes, they're the first on the list, man. Yeah, I don't know how many Mikunis that they just leak. You know, you can't get the float set right. They leak and There's always some kind of weird dead spot in them, but once you get them figured out, dude, they are bad to the bone. They're almost the best, for sure.
I usually just buy a new one. If it starts fucking up, it's like, I guess, whatever. It's like, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to take this carb and rebuild it. I'm like, man, a brand new one's $300, dude. Just fucking buy another one. You know what I mean?
That HSR 42 is $300.
Dealer,
Dealer costs.
Not everybody gets that deal.
Yeah. Well, you know a few guys.
I would too if fucking that was the case.
You know a few guys, I'm sure.
Yeah, I do.
It's actually less than that. So,
And see, on the pan, I run a fucking I run an SU, an Eliminator SU, and those are so that carb. I put that carb on there because I wanted to be period correct. Just I like to do things that I'm not familiar with and learn. And so I slapped that carburetor on there and I fucking took off from Houston and rode that motherfucker all the way to Spokane, Washington.
damn.
Bro, I'm telling you, I can't even emphasize the learning curve I went through with that carburetor for elevation change. For one, S&S, if you want to go rich, you go counterclockwise to screw it out. On this one, it's opposite, and I didn't know that. So I'd be reading my plugs.
Yeah.
I'd be reading my plugs like, oh, fuck, it's too rich. So I'd be going in.
Making it worse.
Making it more rich. And I read, and now I'm fouling plugs out in the middle of fucking Colorado. And I'm like, I got a plug left. Until I stopped somewhere. But then I figured it out. I actually took some time, pulled my phone out, and started doing research. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that when I left Houston.
I didn't. I had a hard time understanding the period correct thing unless you were like just trying to get the aesthetics right. You know what I'm saying? But now that after coming off of riding performance baggers, lowrider ST, like modern bikes, right, and traveling the country with little to no problems. Not that I want to have problems on this trip I'm about to go on, but I want the challenge. I want the challenge of uncomfort, the challenge of how am I going to pack all the things I need on this awkward bar hanging off the back of it. How, all these little elements that are an inconvenience to most people that only have 2 weeks of vacation, that don't want to fuck with that. They just want to go enjoy the coast or the Joy Sturgis. Like, to me, this journey is the trip. You know what I'm saying? And I want to make it not hard and challenging. I just want to make it different and
trying to tap in more to the essence of the actual riding, the experience, instead of just getting there.
Yeah, and eventually in my life, I'll work my way further down the line of like motors and the way it works if it resonates with me. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, first off, I love the way carburetors feel, sound. Oh yeah. It's pretty badass.
You can make your own relation to whatever carburetor you have, and I think that's cool. Is you can adjust it. You can put your power curve wherever you want to. By even CV, you can put different needles in it. You can put in different slides. You can polish slides. You can do all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah. CVs are actually one of the coolest carburetors that Harley's ever made. That carb is badass, and it's I would compare it to a HSR if you do it right. Yeah, they're just sick. I mean, you can do a lot of things to them. And there's different ones. There's different size CVs for a Sportster and Big Twin as well. Okay. So if you gotta know how to read the numbers to see if it's off a Big Twin or a
Sporty. Yeah. So you get into all this stuff around 2012, right? How what compelled you to start Nitty Gritty originally?
So Nitty Gritty was Southern Throwdown 4. Okay, so Southern Throwdown 4, I can't remember what year that was, 2013, 14, something like that. So I don't know if you remember Southern Throwdown, but they used to have the pre-parties at Lucky 7.
And then, pre-party.
Lucky 13, what was it, Lucky 7?
It was Lucky 7, but then we used to do I think it was a pre-party at Chopper Supply, and then a after party.
After party at Lucky 7.
Lucky 7.
And then Bomb Factory or whatever.
Yeah, when it was at Bomb Factory. Yeah.
Well, I went to the after party, right? And Zombie Mike shows up. And Zombie Mike, being, who Zombie Mike is, that dude don't tell anybody he's going anywhere.
Yeah,
if he shows up, he's walking out of the fucking bushes on the side of the road in the middle of the nighttime, and hey, how's it going? You know, it's like, motherfucker, why didn't you call me? We're homies, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you know, I don't call anybody. He's like, well, and we're sitting there talking, we're drinking a couple beers. He's like, why don't we do this shit in Houston?
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, I think it was me and Dave Muick and him and a couple other people from Houston. They're like, yeah, I mean, why don't we do this? And we start talking about it. I was kind of intoxicated, right? You know, you get a little bit emotional. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We should do this, you know? And he's like, all right, well, do all your shit, get your shit done here, and then call me on Monday, right? So I'm like, all right. And I'm all hyped up. And the next morning I woke up. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do that. So I call him on Monday. Hey, man, let's fucking do this. When do you want to meet? Meet me up there Thursday. All right, so I met him up there Thursday. All right, well, what are we going to do? You know, what are we going to call it? And he had no ideas. And I was like, fuck it. Let's call it, I don't know, Nitty Gritty Chopper City, right? Because it was, at the time, Bimbo's had like a little stage back there. And my vision was just like putting up a few booths back there and have like a little city, like a little town you can walk through and buy some merchandise and some, you know, whatever. And he's like, all right. He's like, fuck yeah, Vaughn, you got it, you know? Yeah. So I'm like, all right, so we'll set a date. So we set a date. I think it was like, I don't know, November 15th or something like that. It was late in the year.
Yeah.
And so we set a date and fucking 500 people show up. Like, this is what they were waiting for. Like, people wanted this in Houston. And me and him were like, holy shit, well, I guess we're going to do it next year, right?
Yeah.
So we fucking did all this shit, made the bar a lot of money, you know. Didn't make any money for the first shit. I didn't make any money until we actually, our last year at Backwoods. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so yeah, we just started rolling with it, man. And the next year was at Bimbo's, and after that, dude, it was like 800 people, 750, 800 people at Bimbo's. We couldn't do it there anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it was like people parking down the fucking street just to get in the place. And then, you know, you had to stand in line for a beer for 30 minutes. You know, so I was like, man, we really got to, there's some potential here. Let's expand this. So we went to Backwoods over there off 1488 and 45, and we had that there for probably 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, Mark and Brandy are real kick-ass people, and they let us camp, and there was alligators in the fucking pond.
We always wanted to see that. I never got to see the alligator.
Yeah?
I kept trying to.
I got videos of it.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, one of my buddies, he was prospecting for a club, and they fucking made him swim across that pond to get his cut on the other side of the pond. To put it on, he had to swim it back. Yeah, so in that pond, but he never got attacked by no alligators, apparently. So,
That's funny.
From what they said.
He's still around.
Got
all his digits.
No, that to me, that was the first one I went to. I went to, like I said, the first one I went to was when the guy jumped a fire.
That was my buddy Jason, the guy that I actually came down from Idaho with.
Yeah, oh, for real?
Yeah. He's always been like, fuck, do whatever you want to do, man. Let's fucking do it. We're doing it. So
yeah.
I always put him to the test. I was always like, hey, man, fucking jump the bonfire.
You know what was cool about that spot and everything is that the party didn't feel like it really ever had to end. It had to end. It ended when you decided to, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's cool. You know, I would say that was also the vibe at, you know, I don't know if you ever got to do a Texas Hills show, like the old school
I
one.
went to the first one, yeah.
So,
oh, yeah. When I did a burnout right there in front of that fucking oak tree. I don't know if you remember my bike sitting there overnight, buried into the dirt.
Yeah.
That was my
So
shovel
when it was there at that Albert's Ice House,
yes.
That was that vibe where it's like, you know, we were camping way out in the fucking field by the river, but it's like you didn't have to, you got to decide when you were done. And that felt good at like a bar, at an event, things like that. And not a lot of rules, not a lot of like obligations and whatnot. And the same thing with like Giddy Up. I mean, you got to think about it, like 17, 18, 19, and then of course 20 fucked everything up. But dude, we had a trifecta of events going on in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Between Nitty Gritty, Giddy Up, Texas Hills, Southern Throwdown. Yeah. So even more so, right? And you know, it was a good time to be on motorcycles in Texas. It still is.
It still is, man.
Yeah. It's just changing.
Man, we're living in the moment right now.
Yeah.
We're young. We're not crippled. You know, we got our health right now. We're gonna look back when we're 60 and 70, and we're gonna be like, you know what? Those were the fucking times.
Yep. Yeah.
Those were the good times, man. I have my own shop. You got your own shop. You're doing your own thing. You're event coordinator. You got your shit going on right now. These are the fucking times, man. Embrace that. You know,
No, 100%. Yeah. It's I think that the not weird thing, but maybe just the thing that's been going on is that we've, since 2020, some things recovered, some things didn't recover as far as events and whatnot.
Right.
And I think everybody's trying to find a way to bring back that. I mean, once again, to chime in on prior to 2020, you didn't really have to leave Texas to have the best motorcycle experience. You could stay within the state and do it all. And now with Adam doing Run to Terralingua, you even got some fucking rad shit going on the other side of Texas, which is kind of like going across country.
Have you ever been to Terlingua?
I've done it last 2 years in a row.
Fuck,
I haven't.
I'm
trying to go this year. Support Adam. Go check out the scenery down there. Some of the pictures look amazing.
So the ride from Terlingua to Alpine is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like there is, when I say nothing, there's nothing out there. Dude. From one city to another, it's like completely like if you do it at nighttime.
80 miles. So we did it at nighttime last year.
Ooh.
I was on.
God, that's scary.
I was on the FXR. We were going there to then go to Durango to start the FXR tour.
That's right.
And we left Terlingua because I wanted to do the shot, the Saturday shot with everybody at the Terlingua deal. We left. A helicopter was broke down in the middle of the road.
Whoa.
Damn.
Because they came out there to go like help somebody.
Yeah. That was where they had to land.
Even an aerial vehicle is fucking stranded out there.
I'm just like, who? Like, I know it's a motor.
Gas can.
Yeah, it was just wild. I guess it was more wild. It was like they wouldn't let us. We're on motorcycles. Just let us pass. You know, we can just scoot through. But it was just wild. Like, you know, even the guys I did it with, I'm like, you know that in 20 years you're gonna tell somebody, your kids, your wife, your friend, your coworkers, about this time you were in the middle of Texas on that same road you just talked about. 11 o'clock at night being stuck because there's a broke down helicopter in their fucking motor.
Yeah.
Right there by the Border Patrol checkpoint.
Yeah, it's actually before that,
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
They stopped me. You American? I'm like, motherfucker, you see what I ride? I ride an American hog. And he's like, good answer. I fucking did a whole ass. It was funny. I bet they get a lot of shit out there.
Oh, dude, it's wild out there with all that stuff. But that event it's a Texas event that doesn't feel like anything that happens between the triangle of, you know, San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do miss Southern Throwdown in Dallas. I miss that vibe that there was. But you know, if I bought a fucking huge ass campground, damn straight I'm doing every event that I do there.
You know, I gotta say something about that.
Yeah.
You know, for me, in Southern Throwdown, personally, my experience with the way it is now is you have, and this has nothing to do, you know, no, what was the word I'm looking for? No offense to anybody.
Yeah.
But man, it's so small now. Like the people that I want out there are out there. It's not that how many people are there. It's the quality of people. Like my fucking homies go out there, and I'll go to that for life. I'll go to Southern Throwdown over Texas Hills, over any show that happens, just because that's my homie, and I'm going to support him. You know, and that's my take on it. You know, everybody asks me, you going to Texas Hills or Southern Throwdown? It's like, man, I'm going to Southern Throwdown, and because it's been there, and I give precedence to that. They've been there for longer, and it's a good spot.
Yeah.
And it's such a good time, you know. And I would go to both if they'd reschedule.
Yeah.
You know, if they didn't schedule on the same weekend, I'd go to both. But don't make me choose.
During the first Born Free Texas, I got to get closer with Mike, that is one of the guys that put it on, and he said a lot of things to me that I still have used in like the way I put things together and whatnot, and how I operate shit. You know, he would because you got this California-based show bringing his show to Texas, which I admittedly, and a lot of us felt like, oh shit, like we're about to
California my Texas.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to go be spectators to people from not from Texas, instead of like Texas showing other people out of state on this bigger platform that this brand can bring. But it was the opposite of what I was thinking it was going to be once I met him, and I realized that their whole goal was to give Texas the platform to stand on to showcase what Texas is about, right? And what he told me was like, he goes, man, like, we want you guys to figure out what you guys want, and we want to give you the space to do what you want to do. So
That's rad.
What I'm talking about is like, what goes on, it's kind of like the same that happens in the club world. You got chiefs and Indians, right? And a lot of chiefs out there, you know, sometimes chiefs all got to come together and just kind of, some people have to play the role of Indians here and there, right? But what I see needs to take place, instead of having all these fucking events that you spread every available attendee thin, is people need to start coming together and humble. So older shows need to get the precedent of like, hey, if you're willing to let some other younger guys come in with some ideas to bring their crowd, instead of them going and starting their whole nother event.
Right. Support what's already there.
Yeah, let's bring more to this event where we already have more shit going on, so that we don't have to have 14 events every fucking March and every June and you know, every October. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it creates, you have to somebody has to humble themselves. It's not going to be their show.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if realistically you're doing this because you want to bring it together, then, you know, like where you guys do Nitty Gritty this year, did y'all book that again? Is that going to stay the same?
Yep.
That spot was fucking badass.
It's fire, bro.
I'm pulling into this town. I'm like, there's no way there's something cool here.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, bro.
And then the blue bonnets was coming through the rusted vehicles.
Yep. Ain't that some shit, man?
It was a
Same place,
photographer's
same
paradise,
weekend.
dude. So
It's
It's a
paradise.
good spot.
And I can't, you know, and I said it last year, and I keep saying it, man. The people that weren't there, man, they're regretting it right now. They're like, fuck, we're going to be there next year.
Yeah.
So I think this next year, I really think it's going to be a hit, a hoot, and
sure.
a holler. You
and
know?
I've been saying this for fucking years. That is the time to do an event in Texas.
March.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
You got
The
look.
blue bonnets.
People don't understand this. What I loved about Nitty Gritty, or not Nitty Gritty, Giddy Up, was yes, you had this event, you had this camping, you had this both things that were fucking badass. But when you jumped on the bike and you go ride River Road or go a little bit further out towards the hill country, dude, the flowers, the shit, like, it sounds gay as AIDS, but it's real. It's like, dude, this is prettier than if it was dirt.
Damn,
or
it's serious.
high ass grass. Like, it's badass looking at this stuff.
Perfect time of the year. Perfect
You know?
location for riding motorcycles.
So I feel like that, you know, my wife went, she's like, dude, this is cool here. And the old town stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
the whole fucking vibe was fun.
And
dude.
I think for next year, like I really have, and I still have a vision, you know, and it's the Nitty Gritty Chopper City, right?
Yeah.
And when I seen this place, when Robin and Ronnie showed me this place, I'm like, oh my God, this is a little city.
Yeah.
This is.
Just a little bit fun.
Over, yeah.
Oh,
Scooch
Gotta
it
get in
in.
the camera, dude.
I
Yeah,
keep
you're just
forgetting.
leaning back and you're going out of frame.
Okay, is that good?
Make it awkward.
So anyway, I seen this place.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, this is perfect. This is right up Nitty Gritty's alley. So we did it, man, and it was easier than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, we had some you know, mishaps here and there, and you know, some miscommunications, but all in all, like, I don't really give a fuck. It was a good time. Everybody had a great time, and the best thing that I remember so far is that I woke up Sunday morning and I went to go do a trash sweep. There wasn't a single fucking piece of trash anywhere on that whole 157 acres, man.
Yeah.
Very clean. Very respectful
I didn't
people,
even
yeah.
pick trash up. I couldn't pick anything up. No one left tents. I mean, all the trash was picked up.
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe it. Like, nobody was ever there.
I'm a notorious tent
I
leaver.
fucking love that. For my homies, I
know a
love
few
that.
of them.
I'm a notorious tent leaver.
Don't leave your tent. Not at Nitty Gritty. Don't fucking do that because I got to pick it up.
It's all right. We will.
So if
though.
anybody goes to Nitty Gritty and listens to this podcast, don't leave your fucking tent like Jace does. Don't do that.
And for those of you who haven't been, it's at Salmon Lake Park in Grapeland, Texas.
Yeah.
So make sure you check it out, guys.
It's at that time of year, even like the ride even from here to there, if you do the back roads, it's all fucking blue bonnets everywhere. There's a couple lakes you go by. Dude, it's nice, man. I remember my first giddy up, my buddies here, FXR Mike, and then we're trying to get me to go and like, look, this is the jump off event that everybody, like, some people do Daytona. But for Texas, like, this is the first time people finally get their bikes together. They throw their shit on it. They ride to this event. And that March time, it's like you're still in a hoodie. It could be cold. It could be hot, but it's like perfect camping weather.
Right.
Perfect. You're
You
going to
know?
start a fire. You're going to actually use that fire.
Yeah.
Because it's cold a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that shit.
Warm enough during the day, but gets a little nippy at night.
Yep.
We did our camp out for 7 years, and this was our last year doing it, and we did it at Adam Sandoval's campground in Moyers, Oklahoma. It's just over the border. Really nice spot, good riding within relatively easy to get to, but a lawless campground. You can do whatever the fuck you want out there, right?
Kick ass.
And it was badass for a long time. We brought people from all over the country that rode to it. The only thing that sucked is that to pick that time spot we picked, which was the end of April, beginning of May. Like usually, like you said, it's either a week before or a week after, depending on the way it falls. We're always challenging dealing with the rain. There's a rain scare every year. It never fails.
Just part of the camp out.
Well, it became part of the camp
Right.
out, but it's like because of the time frame, that April month is just always a hit or miss thing. And I feel like the further south you go, the less in the rain scare you get. But yeah, Rennie at Easy Rider got me these a long time ago.
That's fucking badass.
Yeah, that's my dude.
Randy's a cool dude. He got a lot of shit for that build he did. But good for him, man. Good for him sticking up for himself.
He built
Fuck that
something.
shit.
I got to give Rennie credit because he built a bike that was out of his wheelhouse, but he learned throughout the entire process. He figured out how to get it done. He brought so much attention towards the FXR tour that we put on. Whether people thought that was good or bad, it was attention. People don't understand. Like publicity, there's a great saying to that, right? And he brought that.
Yeah.
And
No matter if it's bad or positive,
Any
it's
publicity is
still
good.
publicity.
Yeah.
and to me, it's like, not that anything is missing from the tour this year, but it's guys like that was building shit, talking a little shit on the internet, putting it out there, being a little, out there. Like, be a fucking bike builder from the, the whole part of the tour when we put that together was like, you hear this shit from everybody. I wish they bring Biker Build Off back. Really? I don't think you could handle Biker Build Off.
These guys were doing 48 hours of nonstop work, no sleep.
Yeah, not even that. They had to be a public face.
Yep.
They had to build a bike and they had to sell the shit. They had to be a guy out there shaking hands, kissing babies, or however that works. And it's like,
shaking babies and kissing hands.
exactly. And you have to be that person. You can't be this guy that's like, I'm not into the internet and posting and I don't want to do this. It's like, no, you have to sell your shit. You have to promote yourself. You have to put your shit out there. And he did that. And it brought a lot of attention. Whether it was like the Jake Paul shit. Maybe you wanted to see him fail, but it still brought attention.
Yeah.
And when he fucking showed up and the bike ran, he chose not to ride it a certain leg, and that was on his choice. But he rode it to fucking Nitty Gritty, and we partied all goddamn night together.
No shit.
Yeah. he
So,
Badass.
it's like, it's not that the bike didn't work or whatever. It's like, same thing with Clem's Speed Shop. Bad motherfuckers out of Detroit built a land speed bike.
Yep.
Decided not to ride that bike on the first leg of the tour because he had a $20,000 motor he didn't want to blow up riding through the mountains trying to tune this motherfucker.
did. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oops, too lean.
Yeah.
Burn a hole in the piston.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's setting
That
records.
sucks.
He had some.
So there's, I don't know, man, like the builder concept, right? So, you want to put these events together and challenge people to build a bike. Have you ever had to build a bike for like a show, like had the opportunity to be invited or?
I'm building one for Born Free Texas right
Hell
now.
yeah. Hell yeah.
That I can't say anything about or post pictures because apparently
It's a secret.
I'm not supposed to say anything. Whatever.
But I mean, doing so, it's like when you're a guy that customizes or whatever on bikes and you get that opportunity, if you're not like every light bulb in your mind goes off of what you want to do and how you want to fucking just challenge yourself and do stuff. If that doesn't come on when you get an opportunity, then don't fucking take the opportunity.
Yeah, don't fucking
You know what I'm saying? Give it to somebody else that's more hungry.
That's
Yeah.
someone willing to raise the bar and not just do the status quo, the same old stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, I granted, the joke is that I didn't fabricate my bike. Fair enough. I spent 10 months promoting my homie that did do the fabrication.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hell yeah. And he made me want to learn how to do it afterwards. Like, I'll fucking split the trophy in half and give it to my boy. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care about the trophy. I got my dream bike right now.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I did just fabricate some spacers for it.
Who was I talking to? I was talking to Daryl Borba.
Yeah.
You know Daryl Borba?
Yeah, he's been on the pod.
Yeah, okay. So I was talking to him this morning, and he's like, man, it's fucking expensive. You know, like I built this bike. I don't know how much money I have into this bike. And, you know, I'm going to California. I got to drive there and I got to drive back. And I got to spend for my lodging, all this shit. And he's like, man, but I'm getting a new set of boots, right? And it's like, he's like, fuck yeah. But I'm also getting a fucking badass motorcycle.
Yeah.
Out of it, right? So, and I didn't think about that. And I'm like, that's a good point. Like, you've built yourself. You use this show for an excuse to build your something epic.
Yeah.
And that's what you get. That's like your gift to yourself. And it's kind of cool that he put it in that perspective for me this morning. I just like, that's rad. I won't forget that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good point because at the end,
And you spent so much time and money on
the amount of hours and time, and
Jesus.
you know, we were just talking about that the other day, weren't we? About how many hours, like 200, 300 hours you'll put into like building a bike.
Yeah.
That realistically, there's not a customer base out there right there that would pay that for what we do.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
At your rate,
No.
do the
Not
math
at
real
all.
quick. $300 hours at 115, 125
Was $30,000
to build
to build.
labor
Yeah.
And that's not including parts.
or the bike.
And some of these guys
That's just labor.
Some of these guys have 1,000 hours in finding the perfect parts they want for this perfect idea, you know,
Yeah.
like I made the mistake of sharing I found all my parts, you know, post. I thought it was a for sale post. I was like skimming through stuff, and it was one of the Born Free builders, and he was like, hey, it's not for sale. It's all my shit I found, you scammer. He hopped on my ass.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
I was
way.
like, my bad, man. But you know,
I apologize.
I did. I apologized real quick. Was like, hey, I'm not a scammer. But you have to realize, and I realized real quick I was cool with him because he has like 1,000 hours. Like, tell him I got almost 1,000 hours into finding that shit, dude. You could see how I would get mad when somebody tries to reshare my posts. Like, if I want something, if I want you to share it, I'll tell you. You know, I was like, my bad, dude, my bad.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of heart and time and energy and thought that goes into that stuff. And you see it with the builds that they're putting out. Some pretty neat stuff.
I got a front hub that I built out of two knucklehead star hubs, right? I had narrowed it and took off the brake side, and it's star hubs on both sides.
Yeah.
And then I put a halo in the middle of it, like a stainless halo, and I chromed it, and it's fucking bad. Dude, I got, just in that hub alone, I have, 50 hours, not including the chrome.
Yeah.
You know, I machined all the inside for conical bearings and my own spacer and everything, and like it's
Yeah, so that's a
fucking-
$5,500 hub.
yeah, just for the hub.
Right.
And no one's ever gonna pay $5,500
Right.
for a hub. Like, that's bullshit. But you know, no one sees that when you put that shit on your build, and you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah, so even
How much is this?
So even let's take that same 50 hours down to minimum wage. So what's minimum wage, like $10 an hour now or some shit or whatever?
I don't even
Minimum
know.
wage is for Texas. I think it's like $12, $13.
Is it?
For real?
I think. I mean,
I
would
thought
like
it was
to
still
think
like
it is.
7 or something. I don't know.
Let's just say $10 an hour. Let's meet in the
Okay.
middle. So so 10 times 50, that's $500 for
Yeah.
a hub. That's kind of generically what I don't know. I don't even that even,
No, that's
that
way
seems
too
high.
much for a hub. A hub. Like if you buy a hub at a swap meet, it's like $100.
Yeah,
$100.
And that's kind of it. That's not a deal. You know?
Yeah.
That's like a little spool hub you buy. You know, but if you're gonna fabricate something like that and then pay for the chrome alone was $230 on that
Priceless.
thing.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that
I'm like $700. And
what ends up happening is that when you see that sheet that says it's 150 an hour for fab, 125 for mechanical, blah blah blah.
400 if you worked on it first.
Yeah, 400 if you worked on it first. But the truth is, like most things, it all adds up to minimum wage. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you're just working your ass off, but it's because you love it that you're doing it. You know, and trust me, if we were all better at like being business people and managing our times, like
Yeah.
we'd we'd be in a different place in life with all this
would
stuff,
be.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We'd be sitting in my mansion in Florida Keys. And I
Mansion.
bought your plane ticket, his plane ticket,
Right.
and your plane ticket. And I bought all the beer.
hell yeah.
Doing burnouts in the living room. Is that a thing in your mansion?
It's on the wall, bro.
Yeah.
Hill climbs up the staircase.
Right.
That's the only thing we don't have in Nitty Gritty. It's the hill climb. We got to get some dirt out there.
It's so flat in Texas.
They got
it's
it in
hard to-
Tennessee, though.
Dude, so how was it?
Hard
I
to
saw
find
you were
one.
out there.
That was a good show. Loretta Lynn's is it's a beautiful spot, man. It's one of the sayings came from my buddy Chris. What's his last name? Chris. Fucking forgot his name. Anyway, he says, "Man, I've never felt so at home, so far away from home." You know, and it's like, wow, that's a good way to look at it, because like, it's just such a great place, and the people that put the show on, Bill Dodge, he does the BC Moto Invitational, and he is, if you ever met Bill, like,
I haven't yet, no.
fucking
That
such
Bling
a
Cycles?
good soul. Like, you look at this guy, and he's so genuine, just soft-hearted, and just such a fucking awesome human being. Like, I want to be involved in everything he does the rest of his life. Him, you got Buck, that's the event coordinator for the Tennessee Motorcycle Music Revival. He too is an amazing person. And then you have the Lynn family. You know, you got Taylor Lynn that's out there the whole time, and she'll come up to you and give you a hug, and ask you how you're doing. And she's just and everybody's so genuine, man.
Yeah.
It's just such a good event, and they do it really well.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go every year, and it's a drive, but damn it, I love it.
May is such a stacked fucking month, man. For me personally, though, you
Yeah.
know, now that that we stopped the camp out, it does kind of free up some things. But my wife's birthday and our anniversary is in May, and then
Take her to
yeah. Hey
My
man, I got
daughter's
this great
birthday,
idea.
too. It's always on my daughter's birthday.
So it's like, and I'm pretty much always trying to travel. I try to travel in the summer.
Which one? This one?
Nah, yeah. You know what? I'll take that, Shivas.
The Shivas is good.
Excuse me.
I have AC here, right? To keep this AC feeling good in here, it costs so much fucking money during the summer
Oh, I bet.
that it's more beneficial for me to get out on the road and travel and meet people and do shit like that than it is to sit here and just paint.
That's great. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's my shit right
pretty
there.
good. That'll grow hair on your nuts, son.
That's Scotch.
That needs an ice cube.
It's a sipper whiskey, in my opinion.
It's good. I like it.
But
It's expensive. I know.
Yeah.
I got to pick and choose my battles too.
Yeah.
And for that show, it's hard for me to say no. Cyclosaurus Heather just called me the other day and was like, "Hey, we want you to come out to Smokeout and bring a bike." Well, Smokeout's during Party at the Pen. That's my time to ride, man.
Yeah.
That's the time that I leave. And I'm on, a road trip for a few weeks.
mm-hmm.
Man, I don't want to give that up to go to Smokeout.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I love Chris and Heather to death. They've done a lot of good things for me, but man, I feel bad I can't make it.
Keeping yourself having that time to actually go ride and be a part of it like that is important. Because if you
agree.
just chase this, I'm invited here, I mean, that's why, segueing a little bit, that's why the invite that we got for Galveston was like such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? This
'Cause
feels
it's
like
right there.
It's right there, but it felt so comfortable to have your hotel taken care of.
Isn't that rad? A
It-
badass
to-
hotel?
Yeah. Like to have feel a smidge of what the industry gods got to feel like 10 years ago when they
Isn't
used to
that
get paid
cool?
10 grand to go to an event
Yeah.
like that.
They wouldn't
Now-
even shake a stick unless they were getting paid 10 grand.
And their hotel and their meals, and now they're sitting
Yep.
here, and we're sitting here just trying to get a hotel covered. You know what I mean? So that was, to me, that changed my perception of doing events. I know it's hard because when you're putting events on, you're trying to cover and make sure all the people coming in are going to enjoy it. But
Yeah.
how do you make enough money to provide some kind of comfort to the people that are helping put being the attraction to the show, right?
Yeah, it's It's hard.
we did the tour.
You sacrifice.
We wanted to make sure that we could at least cover the hotel rooms for every builder on the tour each night of the stop, right? Which that was a fucking endeavor just to get enough money to cover 10 hotel rooms per stop.
What's that, a couple grand?
I mean, one hotel was pretty fucking nice. One hotel was like, okay, this fucking sponsor
You took one and put that there.
skipped.
For 20 of us, it's only $500.
Averaged out.
Exactly. And then here, like I said, so it works out well, but I mean, I think Lichter was telling me whenever they did the stuff, when y'all did the stuff for down there, it was like it was either over 10 grand or something like
No,
that.
it was more than that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was like 22 or 23, I think Melissa told me.
Yeah.
Something, and that was the time she was still needing to get a couple more. So, I mean, it could have been 2,400.
Yeah, because I think like Rennie and a few others had to stay at the Galvez down there on the.
yeah.
I think, kind of talking a little bit about that. I think that event or Lone Star has potential to look. Lone Star's already making money. They don't need money.
Right.
It needs fucking like culture.
It needs culture.
It needs culture.
Right.
It needs something more than sword manufacturers, LED people, Can-Ams, and just your weekend warrior bikers.
Yeah.
They do have the Cycle Source show, the ride-in bike show on the Saturday, and those guys are there from they get there Wednesday evening, I think, and that's the only reason really why I went to Lone Star Rally for many years is because of them.
Yeah.
Because they had that ride-in bike show, and it was the only chopper thing there.
Yeah.
And that was
kind of drowned out by all the other
bullshit.
bullshit.
And that's where I fit in, with those guys. I didn't really venture off the seawall much because that's where my homies were. And now it's kind of like, we have this little, high tide deal going on, and now you can kind of go back and forth and we can support each other.
Yeah.
Find a way.
But that's the same thing. It's like, so like I was saying earlier, you have the performance motorcycle culture and the chopper culture is always partied in the same fucking spot.
Right.
So now it'd be easy to give this world a beacon, a fucking like, hey, this is where we're at. Wave a flag, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that town leans into the rally, which is what you want to have when you go to a bike event like that.
Yep.
You go to Sturgis, they want you there. You go to Daytona, they don't really want you there. That town's...
I felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Galveston, especially after the hurricanes,
They want you there.
the floods,
Yeah.
they want you there.
Yeah.
Right? So you feel like you get kind of like a pass to like, not be a fucking dipshit, but
Right.
like, hey, you're drinking a little, you're buzzing a little, going back and forth. Just don't fucking wreck, dude. Don't be
Right.
stupid.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I've had a lot of fun at Galveston over the years. My first one was like 2011, and hit or miss gone to. I have a buddy that does a camp out like in Florida, so I stopped going to Galveston to go to that. And then this year with the invite, it just kind of like was like, well, shit, my wife can go. We can stay in the hotel. We're comfortable. Show the FXR off. And I haven't been in a while, and I wanted to see what it felt like. And I feel like that place has potential, but it's also one of those weird things where if you were to talk to Melissa, it's like, look, we can't supplement what you already have. Like,
No, but we can bring our own little.
but we can
aspect,
bring
yeah.
something that's more attractive to the onlooker than another
what everyone
fucking
else.
shit show, whatever's
Not
going on.
everyone, dude. I'm not saying nobody, but most people don't want to look at a big wheel bagger bike blaring fucking music. I'm just throwing it out there. Most people want to look at a hand built fucking old school vintage Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
And that's what they're gonna remember because they see hundreds of thousands of those big wheel baggers all over the place. They see a handful of these fucking handmade vintage Harley Davidsons in one spot. So I think that alone is enough. I think that's going to bring an aspect to it too.
In a very simplistic way to say that, it's like what the least amount of something is the most cool thing to look at.
I think so too.
Because at one point, like I was saying earlier, I'll stand behind this. Early days, when I first got into big wheel stuff back in the day, like in 2010, pretty fucking rad. Good times. Nobody was into it. Mm-hmm. It's one of a few of you going down the road looking like that. Mm-hmm. You felt like you just discovered a band before, it was on the radio.
That's cool.
And then it hit the radio, and then it's fucking everywhere, dude.
Fuck, now you're like everyone else.
Yep.
And you're trying to be, unique and different.
Yeah, and you know you know what sucks is this also happened to the chopper era of the mid 2000s or early 2000s, late 90s. Right now,
Big wheel shit.
what happens is once it gets so popular and it gets in the hands of people who have no idea where it came from or the culture of it or like figured anything out, they just exploit all the hard work that everybody else figured out, and then it becomes like clown shit. It becomes like cheaper to make, more gaudy, more this, more not what it ever was supposed to be.
Right.
And the people that originally started the trend saw that it has gone and taken its life of its own and decided they're in something else already.
Yeah.
Years before, you know, it turns into this fucking monstrosity of what we consider motorcycles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hate that, though, because, like I said, in the early days of the big wheel stuff, first off, the big wheels back then were not 34 inches. They were a 26. We're talking 3 more inches than a 23.
Huge. 26 is huge.
It is.
That's huge. Yeah, where are you going to find a tire for a 26?
They
So
got guys now.
Shinko.
They're way bigger
Man, that's the
now.
one.
Those are
Shinko's-
small now. 26.
yeah, 26 is
777.
like, oh, dude, what did you do? Just buy
Oh,
it?
that's a 26. Shit, my boy's got a 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
33.
there's some crazy stuff out there now.
And then, you know, like the stereo thing, too, it becomes
Oh,
a
yeah.
deal. It's like, I get it, man. Like, if you jump on a cruiser and you can hear music and you're not wearing a helmet or an open face or whatever, and you can go down the road and listen to your favorite tunes, that feels good.
Right.
It doesn't feel good when you go to a gas station parking lot or whatever and you turn it up so loud that everybody else has to hear that shit.
Just weird and uncomfortable.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be different. I'll tell you this. Last year in Sturgis, our homie throws a badass party every year, and one of those big wheel baggers came in so fucking clutch for music. Because
Yeah.
we're
Wait a
all
minute.
partying.
Did you just say clutch?
clutch?
What does that mean? Is that like hot?
No, like he came in.
right at the right time.
Oh.
They
didn't have-
came in right at the right
Right,
time.
okay.
Didn't have no music.
You think
and here
he planned
comes the douchebagger with the music and everything.
So he
Perfect
comes
timing.
in,
Okay.
and we're all partying in the garage, and he turns the music on, and it's like, right now this works.
Right
we
now,
all
yeah.
want to hear this music.
Right, yeah.
We enjoy the fact that it's loud enough to carry, right? But on every other occasion, we don't want to hear you listen to some shit we know you don't actually listen to in real life.
Right.
right.
Your show tunes.
You're front.
Look at me, dude.
You're
Look at
fucking
me
front.
music.
He's got this sounds good on my radio playlist. I don't actually listen to this shit, but you know.
Right.
It's like, come on, dude. So yeah, I mean, like I said though, it's everything. It's, you know what, not to talk shit, but what some of the Orange County bikes that got made compared to what Jesse James and Billy Lane and Indian Larry were doing, you would consider that to be kind of clown-like compared to what the original dudes were doing. Not that Orange
Little
County
bit.
wasn't building some badass shit. It's just that their opportunity took them down a path of like, you know, pimp my ride basically.
Well, it
Like,
was more
Yeah.
mass produced.
Yeah.
And you can't get mass productivity out of fucking 10 dudes. You just that's hand built shit, and they're trying to push that, push it. It's hard.
I think the
don't know.
trends and the culture changed too, because it went from, instead of producing quality hand parts, it was just wow factor. Let's do the biggest, loudest, gaudiest,
Let's chrome
ugliest
aluminum.
shit.
it's
Let's
chrome.
chrome
You know,
aluminum.
instead of
Fucking
hand making
chrome
custom
aluminum.
beautiful parts.
Yeah.
The scene has kind of changed and went through different fads. And it'll
Well-
all come back around, I'm sure.
You know, the other hard part about it is that, like, the bike scene, right? You know, you remember I asked you this question earlier. What was it that made you find that scene as kind of the original one? Think about everybody else that found, like, they got into bikes, but they found their first scene was big wheel baggers.
Because it was different.
It just might have been the circuit. It might have been the fucking cards they were dealt, and that got them into bikes. But for some of them, they like, oh, this is badass, and then they see a vintage bike and like, I'm kind of into that. Like, I want to go down that path. Some people were like, oh no, next thing is a jet ski or you know
Right.
whatever. But the point is like I've always said this. I throw no shade at anybody as to what got them into motorcycles, how they live their life in motorcycles from here on out. I'm not going to throw shade either because it's another man or another woman. That's how they live their life. But hopefully they find the love for all these machines and not just
Right.
one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I used to say if you appreciate music, you have to appreciate all music.
Yeah.
Not just country
Mm-hmm.
or rap.
Yeah.
You got to appreciate it all. And I feel like I do. You know, I feel like I appreciate all music, but I just...
Like closer.
Jason's gonna
Oh,
meet
sorry.
handlebar veteran.
Here,
I can't.
just turn it. Like you can
I
take it
keep
with you.
forgetting. Well, I'm trying to be in the center.
No,
Don't worry about
Right.
the camera.
Okay, I'm
Just worry
good,
about
and
the
then-
microphone.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so the High Tide was a good show.
Yeah, it
and
was a good
we're
time.
trying to plan that again this year. I talked to Michael Lichter briefly in Tennessee about it. He hasn't contacted Melissa. I think Melissa has her own thing going on right now.
Yeah.
But I think
She's probably working on Sturgis, isn't she? Does she have like Iron Horse and stuff like that?
Yeah, she has Iron Horse Saloon. Yeah. I think she's part owner of
Something in Daytona as well.
in Daytona as well. And the one that went up in flames, what was that?
Full Throttle.
Saloon.
Full Throttle. Okay, so she was half owner of that as well, and from what she told me. So we haven't talked to her yet. I did ask him about it. We'll see. Still no response. So I guess here in a few weeks, I guess I can give him a call and see what's
Yeah.
going on.
But the industry is always like event based. Like every next big event is like precedent, and then it's like maybe at the beginning of the year you figure we're gonna do this, and this. But
No, you're concentrated on the next event.
yeah,
That's how I roll too. I think that's how a lot of people roll. It's just like, okay, we got what's next. What is next right now? We're in
Free.
June, July.
we got Born
August.
Free,
Born
and then we
Free's
got
going on.
Sturgis, basically. I mean, you got
Ton
Laconia
of
just
stuff.
went on last
Shit.
weekend.
What is next? Nothing for a few months. And we got kind of a dead spot in Texas. But
They don't do Run to Raton anymore, do they?
no, it's going on. Yeah,
It
that's
is?
what's
It is,
next.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I might go to that. That's
What is
so-
that, July? Or?
July,
End of
July
July, yeah.
17th or 18th.
Oh, and Full Tilt Boogie, if y'all ever do that
Full
up
Tilt
in
Boogie. When is that?
Minneapolis, the July 20th.
July 20th.
I think I'm gonna try to make that on my trip. I'm gonna try to hit that one.
That
up.
would be cool. That'd
I
be
met
cool.
Zach for the first time this year because me and Daryl did a podcast earlier this year, and Zach saw it and then reached out to me and
Zach.
from Heavy.
Okay.
Heavy, the
yes,
clothing.
Heavy Clothing, yeah.
Um,
I've met that dude one time. Cool dude.
Fucking rad.
Fucking
dude.
rad.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I want to go support that event, man. It was just being around him. He took me to my first speed metal show.
Really?
Yeah. It was kind of like Pantera, but like on Adderall.
Really?
Yeah. Wasn't bad.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's kick ass.
It was a good time, man.
Yes.
It's like the way I've been describing to people is like when you're in it, like you're there, I fuck with it. I'm not playing it in my car though. You know what I mean? There's
I'm
music.
not buying the album.
Right.
You know?
There's music you can like in this. Like when you're there, it's like it hits
It's
you and it
immersive
packs. Like,
experience,
dude, this
but,
is
like-
badass.
Right.
You try to play it in your car the next day, you're like, bro, like this is not the vibe.
What the fuck? This
I'm in a
is
school
not-
zone.
This was 10 hours ago. I better turn this shit down. I'm going to get arrested.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Damn it.
So
Yeah, there's nothing going on for a few months, but I mean,
Too damn hot.
it's
Yeah.
exactly.
That's why.
It's fucking
a roaster.
hot, dude. It's hot.
I don't know if it's getting hotter or I'm just getting more sensitive to the heat. Because I remember when I was a kid, I used to ride around no AC,
Dude.
windows down.
too.
I didn't
think
give
it's
a
the
fuck.
latter. I would have to agree with the same. I'm experienced as I get older, the cold and the heat. You know,
Yeah.
I could be out there all day. 6-7 years ago, but it's starting to catch up with me.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's triple digits, 105, 70% humidity.
That's
Yeah,
too
don't
much.
remind
Tough.
me.
It's tough.
That's why I got this fucking thing called a pack unit, and I put it behind my shop, and now I have AC. So
So
now
just
I
like
don't
a
even
little air
open the
conditioner?
fucking door.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I love the sun. I love outdoors, and like summertime is like a hibernation mode for me in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I shut the door and I don't see the sun till I leave. It's
Yeah.
kind of shitty. I
The
don't
also
like
humidity
it.
is way worse down there too. So
Oh, the
I
humidity's
don't blame
crazy.
you for hibernating in that.
So check this out. I checked the weather for the next week
Yeah.
in Houston compared to Dallas.
Right.
Dallas is clear in the 90s all week.
Yeah.
We have 10 days of fucking rain all week for
Damn.
Houston.
Well, we've had it recently. We had the
Yeah.
straight line winds and tornado touchdown in the area.
That's That's governmental projecting. I'm telling you right now. That's
Taking it over
that
to
is
Joe
a
Rogan
cute
real quick.
projection by fucking proxy. I guarantee it. That's just straight up. I believe that shit. I think they're making their own
I
storms.
have to agree with you. on
Oh,
that.
you guys got a drought? Pfft, no problem. Give us 45 minutes. We'll have a storm in your area the next day.
Yeah, we had some crazy shit going on. That's for sure.
There's been so much rain. It's pretty gnarly. I'm old enough now. I think this is what happens when you get old. When you get rain, you just complain about two things happening. Your grass growing more at the house. You got to cut it more. And
Right.
mosquitoes.
Shit.
Yeah.
And the mosquitoes are coming out of the grass like fuck.
It's like every time it rains, I'm like, fuck. Now I'm not gonna be able to go outside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get bit up. You know, I
It's
got
bad.
that sweet blood or whatever they want. So, like I said, I got a bathroom right now. It's full of mosquitoes because it's like if I don't flush the
Bad
toilet
season.
regularly, they just fucking grow, and I just like shut the door and like fuck, I'll piss out back. I'm not even gonna get a fucking lump on my dick for that
Imagine if
shit.
you gotta take a shit, man. What are you gonna do?
Nope. I just
Can't have it.
Going out
I
back.
crack the door and spray it.
He's going out back.
Pissing out of your butthole like a
You gotta
woman.
when you like hold the water hose and it squirts further, you
Yeah.
gotta figure it out on your back.
You gotta turn just right. Squint the butt cheeks a little bit harder.
man.
You gotta squeeze it, get it to squirt out.
I think that
Oh,
get
it's
them out of there fumigating every once in a while.
You know what? There's an event they do that I don't know what it's called in Bisbee, Arizona that I see. It's
Yeah, the
usually
Prowl.
I
Yeah.
really want to go to that one.
And my buddy
Yeah.
Nako is part of that.
Real?
He's part of the Ives brothers. And he's been wanting me to come out there for a couple
It's
years.
usually like in
like a
January or February or something like that, or
the Prowl's in
March?
I want to say April.
April.
I don't know.
Maybe I can
Is it
look
like
it
a
up.
1 day? I think it's like a 1 day
One or two
event.
day, yeah. But
Either way.
dude, when you're riding there, you're there for a few days anyway.
Right.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go to that. The Bisbee deal is cool. Bisbee is actually very historic.
I've never been there.
Yeah. I've never been there either, but I hear it's badass.
Yeah.
And I do want to go to that. That would be one of the ones where I don't tell anybody I go. I just show up.
Pull a zombie.
It's fucking
Yeah, right.
Hey, what's up? I did that in Durango one year. I was coming down from Idaho. It wasn't part of the pen. It was just Idaho. And
Yeah.
I was coming down, and Danger Dan hit me up because I called him, and I was like, "Man, what are you doing? What's going on? I'm on my way back to Houston. Is there anything going on?" He's like, "Man, yeah, come to Four Corners Rally in Durango, and you can come stay with fucking me and my buddy up here." So I came down there. I was like, all right. So I came down there and hung out, and it was fucking badass. Dude.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I don't know where I was going with this.
Well, you know what's weird
But-
about like that Labor Day weekend time frame is another hotbed for people want to put on events.
It is.
It is.
Because you got Four Corners, you got Party at the Pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Within a few days from
There's
each
a
other.
ton of.
there's
stuff.
another one going on. I think
Lone
there's
Star. The
ton of
Lonely
stuff.
Star Roundup is also then, right?
yeah, down in Austin,
With
right?
with Jesse James.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that there's also like a Tennessee thing they do at the Smokies. It's around that time.
Yeah.
But
Is it the smoke? It is the smoke out. It's the smoke out.
Smoke out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I told
Party
him I
at the Pen.
couldn't go because Party at the Pen. Yeah.
That's one of the things I do coordinating events is like looking at other people's event schedules so I know where's the hole, like where do I fit in so I can bring more people in. There's not a ton of distractions. There's not 40 events going on the same damn weekend. And it can be pretty
Dude.
discouraging because there is
that's the
a
way we
ton
were
of
with Nitty
events.
Gritty.
Yeah, there's a ton of events going on every weekend. So
So last year we scheduled Nitty Gritty, and we're like, yeah, that's the weekend. Cool.
it used
All
to
right,
be
let's do it.
November for a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's-
Then we did it too. What was October after November? And then
COVID messed everything up,
COVID
and then
fucked
yeah,
everything up. But
yeah,
I
then
was
a lot of
looking-
people moved in on the October month after COVID because that was a makeup time frame for a lot of events.
yeah.
It was.
And then, with Born Free coming here in October, and then originally TMMR was in October, wasn't it? Tennessee
was.
Motorcycle Revival was in October.
Was, and it rained on us and got down to 30 degrees
Ooh.
overnight
Yeah.
one night.
Damn.
And we froze our asses off. And it's funny because I was thinking, man, it's going to be cold, when we went just a few weeks ago. And I'm thinking, well, it's not going to be cold because it's, it's fucking May or April. And then and then I remembered, oh yeah, that was October.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they totally changed it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the October deal was that was fucking cold, man.
Yeah.
Tennessee in October is cold. Like it rained and everything. Don't ever put an Air mattress inside of a
Close to
trailer.
hurricane season on that side.
Dude, East Coast, like I thought hurricane season was over. So this is the thing that people don't think about. From August until honestly after November, like December, it's hurricane season, motherfucker. Everything on the East Coast is within range of getting
Target.
fucked.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Florida,
I've been caught
Proceed
in
with caution.
Florida's like a fucking huge come
Bold
get me.
dick
Yeah.
hanging out there. So I got caught in a hurricane coming back from Indian Larry block party one year. Not even a hurricane, like the whip of a hurricane
On a motorcycle.
on a motorcycle.
Oh shit.
And then I got caught 2 years ago coming back from the Keys in the beginning of November in a hurricane that was coming in, but I was like on the highway trying to get to 10 to go east
Outrun it,
or
yeah.
west. And so I was getting hit there, and it's like, dude, it's fucking gnarly, man. I would have had to wait 3 more days for this whole thing to pass through. And I don't have 3 more days hotel money. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah,
So it's like, fuck it. I just got to figure it out. Like, I just got to push through. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah,
So
make it work.
it was cold too. It fucking sucked, man.
I think it flooded the week after me and Nick went to Indy and Larry Block Party
Yeah.
this last
Really?
September. They were showing videos in the subway of it, a foot tall, and
Holy
coming down from the
shit.
ceilings, and people's lower level apartments flooded out. Like we missed it by a week. So
I think this year I'm gonna drive up there. I don't think I'm gonna make Indian Larry, which
I thought it was the last one.
They've
yeah.
been playing on that
marketing
strategy for a while.
Fucking genius.
I'm gonna drive up there. I'm gonna go to New York on this trip that I'm about to do, but I'm gonna drive up there in September because I want to ride or drive through like some of the Northeast with like the fall leaves and shit.
Oh yeah,
Tell you, dude,
That'd be
I
beautiful.
just want to see some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
beautiful on that side. I've never been over there until Nick invited me to Indy and Larry, and it's like 10 states that I haven't hit. Never hit the East Coast,
that
and I was
rad?
like, man, this is why
East
people.
Coast is
This is why people
fucking
live over
cool.
here. It's beautiful.
yeah.
You know?
We did the, I think it was a 2018. Me, Zach, Buckland, right, and one of my homies, Kevin Jones. We went to the Catalina Wine Mixer up in northern Alabama.
Oh shit!
There's a band called the Catalina Wine.
You've never
Mixer.
heard of the Catalina
No.
Wine?
That's off
So
of
check this out.
Step Bros, Catalina
Yeah,
Wine Mixer,
so check
dude.
this out. So this event, right?
Yeah.
It's a small event, little grassroots, cool, fucking little whatever. They have a ramp, like a wooden ramp that goes into the lake, and you ride a bicycle down this hill, and you hit this fucking ramp, and it goes into the lake. It's
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Never done it before in my life, and that's the only reason why I went, because I was like, dude, I want to ride a fucking bicycle into the lake, right?
Yeah.
So a hurricane hit, a tropical depression hit Houston like 2 days or maybe a day before we were supposed to go. Well, it hit and then it passed through and it was all dried up. And I'm like, hey, you guys, you want to go? Still down? And yeah, fuck it, let's go, right? So we started jamming. We jam, not a problem there, right? We get all the way to, it was Winfield, Alabama, northern Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
We did the whole deal. Weird shit. There was like some voodoo stuff, and there was some weird stuff. It was cool.
There's
but
a gray area in that part of the country that I don't feel like even
Dude.
exists in modern. Like
dude, it was definitely
isn't like
different
a
for me.
Muscle Shoals and all that
Yep.
up there or something
Yeah.
like that.
So we get there, we party. It was cool. We did the ramp. Zach completely ate shit, right?
Yeah.
Dude, he hit that ramp and his toe was folded underneath him,
Ugh.
and he raked his toes up that ramp and went out the ramp, right? Dude, he couldn't even put his shoes on. It was so
Scraped
bad.
the top of
It
his
was
feet and
fucking
toes.
Funny, dude. It was so funny.
That's gnarly.
Anyway, we did that whole deal. On the way back, my buddy broke down. His clutch cable broke. So we're on the side of the road, and we're sitting there, and we're like, you know how we're gonna fix this fucking clutch cable? And his old lady's in the Jeep in front of us, and I'm behind him, and we're sitting there, and this fucking dude comes out of the brush, When I say brush, I'm talking like a wall of like trees. And there's nobody out. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And this dude's out here holding this like a 350 Chevy fan, you know, like clutch fan. And he's like painting this clutch fan. And he's like, hey, man, can I help you guys? And my buddy Kevin looks over and he's like, no, man, we're good. We don't need any of your help, you know?
Yeah.
Because we're very like, you know, there's nobody living back there. Why is that dude back there?
Yeah.
And so we got our shit together and we got out of there. But my point is, dude, we rode all the way back to Houston in a fucking thunderstorm from Alabama. Like we hit, I think it was Birmingham. And from Birmingham to Houston, there wasn't a fucking sunny sky anywhere. And it was probably the worst storm I ever rode through because of that hurricane.
Wow.
It was fucking crazy. Dude, I remember actually when I got home, I pulled into the little courtyard, and I went to like I'm soaked. I've driven through fucking 2 foot of water, you know, 48 panhead, right, and it's still running. When I finally get home, I'm gone for 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
I come in and I'm fucking soaked, and my wife at the time opens the door and Jet comes out and we're like, Dad, whoa, I'm trying to find my kickstand and it catches my pants. My primary catches my pants and fucking and folds the bike over on top of me and dies.
Oh,
and
shit.
I'm over there trying to get my pants out and get this bike up off my leg, They're all over there and it's still coming down. It's raining like a monsoon and they're out there not trying to get wet, trying to help me out. I finally got out from underneath that bike and got inside. It was like the most epic moment ever of being home. I love that moment.
Homesick, man.
I'll never forget that moment.
It's the struggles that make the victory more worth it.
Oh, my God.
It's a bigger win when you make it through all that shit.
It was amazing. I stripped naked right then and there. Fucking all my wet clothes, jumped in the shower. Got in. It was crazy. It was a good time.
Yeah, I feel like the last couple of trips I've done solo out west, I would make it. I usually would leave L.A. and I would get back to like either Van Horn off the 10 in Texas, or if I got a good start, I could probably make it to like Pecos or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And every time,
That's a stretch.
yeah, it's nothing there, dude. There's hotels and Love's gas stops basically, but it's like I'd get to this point where it's like, man, I'm awake. I could probably just go home.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it'll probably be 7 a.m. when I get home, and it's 12 p.m. now. But every time I stop and I get a hotel, the next morning, solid rain all the way home.
Yeah.
3 times in a row. And it sucks, man, because it's like rainstorms on the plains are fucking gnarly. First
There's
off,
nothing to stop them.
you're riding on this highway and you see the storm 50 miles away, and it's one of those gnarly bastards where it's like in the fucking like space basically.
Right, yeah.
And you see it
You
coming.
can see the rain falling.
You're like, I'm pulling up the app on my phone, checking out where it's at as I'm coming down the road, and it's like, I'm gonna race this storm to that town, and then what happens is, you get to that town and it looks like it's far away and you're good, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna go to the next one.
You get hammered.
Get fucked.
Yeah,
and all these towns
yeah.
are like 30 miles apart, so you gotta like,
ride through that shit for 20, 30 miles.
dude, it's gnarly, man.
Yeah.
But
It's part of it.
It's part of it.
Got hit on the way back from the camp out. Me and Nick,
Everybody
we did
got
like
hit.
30 miles of just straight rain, and it's whatever. We're both used to it. It's fun.
it's probably the first time
Since it was
somebody
only
got
30
clean.
miles.
You got lucky.
Yeah.
30 miles.
It wasn't like a thunderstorm.
Try to do hundreds
Oh, yeah.
of miles.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Y'all just keep talking.
Yeah.
So there was what was I gonna say? Oh, so the Terlingua deal. So one of my best friends, his name is Jason Landrum. His dad passed away. He was also one of my really good friends. His dad passed away about 3 years ago. We did the Terlingua run. Right?
Uh-huh.
We did the Big Bend, right? We went over there. That's when I hit that coyote, right? On 99, I hit that fucking coyote doing 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I've never, I can't even emphasize how a body can feel like a bag of bricks.
Right.
Like, you never thought it'd be that hard, but it fucked me up. Anyway,
At 80, yeah.
at 80, right, at 80. Well, 75. I don't know how fast I was
Sure,
going, but I was
everything
hauling
feels
ass.
like a brick
I was
at that
passing
speed.
traffic, and I know on 99 they're doing at least 70,
Right.
75 maybe. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, we're going to Terlingua. He's talking about watching thunderstorms. So we left Alpine that day. We're gonna do the whole loop. We're gonna go to Marfa Lights, Marfa,
Right.
break down to Presidio, down Legitas, and then Terlingua back up to Alpine, right? The whole
Yeah.
loop. And so we get to Marfa, Presidio. We coming from Presidio to Legitas, and so we're watching, and it's fucking raining like all over the place. It's raining. So we just stop at this spot, and we're like, just gonna chill. And we're down in the creek bed. We're looking for arrowheads and stuff, and doing the whole deal, and kind of just watching the thunderstorms from a distance because I didn't want to get wet. If I can help it, I don't want to get wet.
Yeah.
Not that I'm afraid to get wet. I just don't want to get wet.
Right.
So we're just chilling, kind of, and so it started drying up a little bit. So we head on a little bit more. We get down to, we come off this pass down this little mountain, and he almost hit a rock, almost went off the road. I didn't see it because I was ahead of him. And we get to this fucking washout. The road's washed out.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Talking about the road from Presidio to
from Presidio to Lechitas.
yeah.
Yeah. It's upriver. Like you couldn't even imagine it. I got pictures on my phone I can show you. So we sat there for 2 hours, waiting for this stream to go through, and I look over to Jason. I was like, dude, this is the same fucking river we were just looking for arrowheads in.
Right.
And he's like, holy shit, you're right. And I even made the comment, and I said, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if like a flash flood just came through here and fucking wiped us out? He's like, yeah, that would be funny. But little did we know, that was only a mile up the road. It was coming towards us. We had no idea. By the time we got to that same river down the road, it was already 4 feet deep.
Damn.
5 feet deep going across the road. So we sat there for like 2 hours, and finally a loader came, and they got all the rocks and stuff off the road, and then we passed, and then right after I passed and made it up the hill, my exhaust stud broke out of the front of the head.
Damn.
Why couldn't it done that
Timing.
right before we got to that? I would have fixed it,
Yeah.
I would have fixed it while the creek had to,
Yeah.
lower. And yeah, so we were there for another hour.
That's kind of the thing that's funny because when you're traveling to the west and you're going through these deserts, you see that flash flood thing a lot.
Yeah.
It's because the ground can't absorb the water, right? So
Yeah.
it turns into like a fucking river everywhere, and you never you're like, what, out here in the middle of
You
nowhere?
couldn't imagine
Right.
it.
But it happens.
That is weird.
Dude,
That
it
was a-
happens.
It's all dry. You think this fucker doesn't get enough rain, and then all of a sudden, the one day it rains.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that was a full-on whitewater rapid through there. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I don't know if you ever saw that movie Into the Wild.
I have, with that dude that died in that
In the bus. Yeah. So
Yeah.
at the beginning of that movie, he was driving his car out, and he parked in the desert that crashed, and it had a flash flood that came through and wiped out his car.
I don't
just
remember that. I
While he
gotta
was in
watch
the,
that
that's
again.
when he got out of it. He ended up leaving his money, burning his money and all that
Oh,
shit.
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just fucking started walking from there.
Dude, that's crazy. Dude.
Yeah. So you're from that area of Boise. I had to bring this up because it was coming to my mind. So about 2 years ago, me and my boy, we did this Northwest trip. We did Missoula, McCall, fucking Lolo Pass, all that stuff. Good times. We stayed with a buddy in Boise, and we were working our way back south to go to Born Free. Well,
Texas
yeah,
or
no, California.
Okay.
And we left Boise, and we're working our way to. We were going to Reno. So
Reno is fucking crazy, too.
my boy in Boise goes, "Hey, this is the path you're gonna take, and it takes you down to, I don't know if it's Winnemucca or something like that down there."
Well, you took 93 south.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And he goes, "But right now it's the Mormon cricket
Be careful with them motherfuckers. Dude, you'll be off the side of the road before you even fucking know it, dude.
What'd you
We
call
did-
them? Morning cricket?
Mormon
cricket.
They are fucking gnarly.
Really?
Like, so when they migrate, and this is what we're doing. This is what happens at this time of year. Right now,
Right,
actually.
actually, a couple weeks ago, there was a deal that one of my buddies sent me, and he's like, "Hey, do you know about these Mormon crickets?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's dangerous to drive because they come across the road in such vast masses."
They come across. So we hit it. It was kind of like on the back end of their migration. So there was still a shit ton. I couldn't imagine what it looks like in the height of their migration, but basically you're riding. Have you ever like seen like with a mirage kind of thing on the road when you're kind of riding? It's hot. You can kind of see
Heat mirage.
You don't know if it's a mirage, but the road's moving
Right.
as you're riding because you're riding across this shit, right? And then so the thing is, if they're full on migration, it's slippery on the bike, like or in a car, or whatever you're doing, because
Guts.
guts.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
just fucking sliding all over the place.
That's
We
wild.
stopped as soon as we crossed the border into Nevada from Oregon, right there, and dude, like they're everywhere on the walls. They're fucking just everything's moving.
Everywhere. Oh, man.
Did you come through Marsing? Does that sound
Think so,
familiar?
yeah.
Marsing. So that place Homedale I told you about, where I'm from, is not even 7 miles from there. That's where I grew up, right there outside of Marsing.
Okay, I'm gonna find it real
Cricket
quick.
City, huh?
Dude, telling you. Yeah.
Nitty Gritty
Hell's
Cricket City.
Canyon.
Nitty
Nitty Gritty Cricket City. Hell's Canyon is like you recognize that saying probably. Hell's
So
Canyon.
you come 95 out of
Marsing.
Marsing,
Yeah.
So you're just outside of Napa and all that shit. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And you come down into like Jordan Valley, right?
Yep.
And Jordan Valley would
hit that.
bring you down right into Nevada into Winnemucca. Like, and that 95 will actually take you into 93, and you can take 93 fucking.
So my buddy that played he was the guy that played John Teller in Sons of Anarchy, like the main dad.
Okay.
So he's the face mainly, but he had a couple roles in the actual show. He used to live in Ventura, and we painted his bike like a long time ago. I was painting his bike, and we were talking about Sons of Anarchy one day on the podcast, and he hit me up and goes, "Hey," because my brother, my younger brother, at the time he looked like Jax Teller or fucking Charlie Hunnam, right?
Okay.
So we were calling him Jax and all that kind of bullshit, and so he reached out to me and goes, "Hey man, tell your brother I play his dad on TV." I'm like, "What?" And so I call him. What are you talking about? And he sends me a picture of like his mugshot thing that they did, because that was the main picture you would see is his mugshot in the hallway on Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
And I'm like, no fucking way, that's you? And so he gave me the whole rundown. He was on the podcast. So we actually went to his
That's
house
cool.
and stayed with him because he moved from
In
Ventura
Ventura.
and moved to Boise.
Oh, he did.
And then we
Okay.
did a podcast with him up there, and he talked about that whole situation of like what it was like being on the show, kind of what role he really played behind the scenes. I think his behind the scenes role was way more impactful than what was visually of him, but his face is like the iconic face of Jax Teller.
That's crazy.
Or no, John Teller, right?
John
His
Teller.
dad or whatever.
So, but yeah, it was
But
wild.
his dad died though. That's where
Yeah.
he got the panhead from, right?
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah.
I only watched a few episodes of
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy. Don't think I'm like a Sons of Anarchy.
I watched it. I watched it.
No.
I've watched it. It's been years, though, so I don't quite remember the details.
You
I
know-
watched so have y'all seen Streets of Fire?
No. What is
All right.
that?
Have you seen it?
It's not ringing a bell.
All right, so Streets of Fire, talking about biker movies quite a bit lately. Jeff Milburn, who was the main guy
Bike riders.
on the Bike
Yeah.
Riders thing as far as putting all that together, we've been hanging out a little bit, and he kept it's his movie, right? He's like, you gotta see Streets of Fire. I'm at his place in Dallas. He's got a huge cool movie poster of it.
Cool.
I'm like, hell yeah. And it's got William Dafoe. There are actually vintage.
That's a weird dude.
Yeah.
There's vintage motorcycles. Like
Maybe I
there's
have seen
fucking
it.
shovels, pans, and all this stuff. I think the movie was 84. And so last night I get home early enough. Me and my wife finally, it's been like a month since we've been home together at the same time.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's see what's on TV. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to watch the Streets of Fire. I put it on, and it's a rock fable. So it's kind of like a it's not a musical by any means.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're into rock and roll, it would be enough music to palate your need for music and dialogue,
Okay.
right? Not like every scene turns into a fucking song,
But
right?
it's got plenty of it, yeah.
It's got enough of it, right?
Yeah.
And so, the funniest thing in the world, dude. 84. At one point, this dude just straight right hooks his girlfriend to knock her out.
Oh, man.
You can't even put that shit on TV now.
No, but it was like, how do you word this? He's trying to get her to not go to the battle that he's about to go to, so he just knocks her ass out.
Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You get knocked out if you go to the battle,
Oh,
and then you're
man.
just gonna knock her out.
Well, he's going to battle this biker gang so that they don't take her. So he knocks her ass out.
Gotcha.
And I hit Jeff Milburn up this morning. Go, hey man, finally watched Streets of Fire. Pretty rad. I didn't see that right hook coming. Me and my wife laughed our asses off for about 30 minutes about that shit.
That's pretty good.
It was wild,
That's
man.
pretty good. Didn't
But it's
see
like-
that right hook coming.
Right? I mean, like motorcycle movies, culture, all this stuff on TV. You know, it's look. Sons of Anarchy, whether you watched it, cared, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can closet watch it all you want. The thing is that shit brought people to motorcycles.
Right.
Straight up.
Every
And if
little
you're-
show and series does, yeah.
I can't wait for this new Bike Riders movie to come out.
It's gonna be
I'm
really good for-
1,000 at
Yeah.
least.
1,000 air.
I swear to God. People are going to be wanting all kinds of pan heads and shovels.
Yeah, but the
I'm
problem
sure.
is that like those things are already hard, like very hardly obtainable.
Yes, they
right?
are.
So you got to think.
Be dedicated.
I feel like Evos are about to be a lot more expensive motors to get your hands on.
And that's ridiculous.
It's going to be the next best thing, for sure.
That's ridiculous.
And
Everything's
shovels are going to turn
inching
into
up.
pans.
Exactly.
That's
And I've
the
been
way it
hearing that
is.
for years.
It's the way it's going to be. I mean, a shovel head is a great motor. A
Yeah.
cone nose shovel head is a fucking awesome motor. There's nothing wrong with it. You
Yeah.
build a nice, solid shovel head, it'll
Yeah.
take you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
My
For
dad
sure.
always said those are kind of like the last era of the working man's bike.
It
the
is.
Tractor technology
is.
where you can work on it with minimal
It
tools. And
is. It is.
started getting a little
I
bit more
mean,
complicated.
and I would say
after
that
there.
about Evos too,
Yeah.
early Evos.
Yeah.
But once it, became when it became fuel injected, it took all the man out of the whole mechanics, and that
Yeah.
sucks.
They changed the engineering too with some of the stuff, making it harder to get to things and change
Yep.
things where you had to.
You got to take it to the dealership.
Yeah,
to
that was the
fucking
idea.
fix it.
Engineers got with the
It's all about
people at
money
the top
and,
and
power.
wanted profits. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Whatever.
they had to pay for that, inflation fucks with
And
everything.
buying
Something,
back from
somehow.
AMF too. They had to pay for that. AMF they don't get the credit, but they put all the money in research and development into the Evo.
Yep. And then
Harley had to
Davidson
come
came
back,
in.
and buy all that
Yep.
shit back. So I'm sure they were hitting that.
A lot of
marketing.
people talk shit about AMF, but
Right, of
if it
course.
wasn't for AMF, I mean, Harley wouldn't even be here today.
They saved
Wouldn't
the
have.
company.
They fucking saved their asses.
Yeah, if you
man.
think about what Indians gone through their like lineage,
And they're still here.
they're
Yeah, they've
they're
been
here,
sold
but they've
out
been
to
sold so
different-
many
yeah.
times. You can't get a certain year Indian. You can
That's
get
like-
it every year
I
Harley
think up to like
since they started.
53
Yes, you
Indian
can.
is real deal, and everything after is like S&S and this other company and this other company. Now it's Polaris.
S&S did buy
They
Indian.
did for a little bit. They had
I
like in the
worked on it.
2000, 2001 or something. They had
So,
the S&S motors in
They
there.
did. With S&S carburetors, S&S motor, with an Indian bike. That's weird shit.
pretty neat.
2001, I think it was. 2001, 99, 98, something like that.
I think it's pretty neat. If it's got two wheels, I like it. So, but I do like the older
Basically.
stuff. Pre-60 Indian, like the original. I don't know a ton about them, but I think like 53 was the last.
Let me ask you guys
40.
this. So this is a question I was talking to. I can't remember if it was you or somebody with this movie coming out. Right? It's a spin off of a book that's been synonymous to motorcycle culture for a long time. If you were to take anybody from our motorcycle culture in the last, let's just be fair, 40 years, who do you think is worthy of a biopic?
Biopic. Can you put
So-
biopic in a sentence?
So,
please?
Can I get the spelling?
Can I get the origin of the word?
so like a movie based on the life of.
Oh, like a biography. Okay.
Biography and a film.
Okay. Fuck. Somebody. Okay.
So we Was it you? I talked
it
to.
was us
Okay,
on the garage.
so we had threw out 3 real quick. Indian Larry,
Yeah, that one popped in the head.
Jesse James, Billy Lane.
Yeah, the first 2 popped into my head. Yeah.
Um,
How far back did you say?
let's just say 40 years, but
40 years.
I mean, Paul Toto Sr. Well, I mean,
or Arlen Ness.
Yeah.
Arlen Ness,
100% Arlen.
There's a lot of
Ness.
other people that aren't
Or
popping
even
into head
Mondo
right
from
now. They're on the
Denver.
Denver
underground.
Shoppers, yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but if you're thinking about a movie, right? So you need acts. You need like Rise Falls.
Yep.
You know, and so
Indian Larry would be number 1 for me,
that's what I'm thinking. I think Indian Larry biopic might be.
or Billy Lane because dude, he went to fucking prison and all kinds of shit. So
Yeah, but then
That
again,
would've
so
been
did
good.
Jesse James had the fucking huge issue with like
well, he's
culture checking him out. You know, like
Yeah.
Jesse James is a dog, and that's always a good thing to base a movie around. Like
Yeah.
Jesse James ain't like
the anti-hero.
politically correct,
Yeah.
That dude's like he does what he wants no matter what, and fuck everyone else.
Well, that's a big part of the
If you don't like
motorcycle
him, fuck
culture
him.
too. Is just doing what you want and not subscribing to the general.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, if this bike rider movie does good, if people actually go watch it in the fucking theater,
Yeah.
which shows Hollywood that there's money to be made around motorcycling, then you
Yeah.
get more motorcycle shit.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Sure.
then means more motherfuckers like you and I get to be a part of this world or get the benefits from people being inspired by this world,
Yeah.
I
right?
believe this movie is going to inspire a lot of people, and
Yeah.
it's going to do. It's what it's going to do is it's going to push us up, from the bottom up, because more people are going to be coming in.
Yeah.
And it's just going to raise.
Oh,
us
that's
up.
good. That's a good analogy,
I really
yeah.
think that's going to happen.
You saw that with Sons of Anarchy, the Mayans spinoff.
Mayans
All
didn't
that,
really.
all that stuff. I saw a lot more of the Cholo bikes and stuff coming around.
I did build a
after
Vikla
that.
bike. Yes, I did
you
build
know,
a Vikla bike
so-
after that.
I see a
I think
little
those
bit
bikes
of
are
it.
cool. I just,
Oh, for
I
sure.
feel
I would
like
ride
the
one.
scenes, their scene connected to it isn't tight enough to be what it is. It sounds bad, but in terms of like marketing, it's not exploitable enough
Right.
to it's so
Niche or
like specific to a people.
Cute to a scene.
Yeah.
Like
kind of.
if you're a white dude on a fully Mexicaned out fucking Vikla, you
Probably
look
not gonna
weird.
happen.
it's
right?
usually like the lowrider crossover crowd. The people that were into.
So you need a
lowriders
bike
and
that
ride
has a
bikes
style
now.
that it doesn't matter what race you are, you can actually ride it because you like it. It's
Yeah.
not tied to like a race of people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That would be choppers.
He's like
Straight up.
choppers or
Like
the.
vintage choppers.
What was it La Bamba?
Fix-all.
Homeboy was on that fucking
Yeah,
old
Little
bike?
Richie. Was it Little? No, Richie Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
outside.
that's Richie Valentine. Or Ricky.
Ricky, I don't know. It's been a
I
long
don't
time
know.
since I've seen it. Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou
But
Diamond Phillips.
somebody, not him, but his brother or somebody in that movie rode a motorcycle, and it was a meme for a long time. He was always leaving the girl or some shit like that.
Yeah, dude, I have to say something. I've said this probably, I don't know, maybe 4 times the last month. You guys ever seen Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know the very last scene where Mickey Rourke leaves, Don Johnson, right? So Don Johnson's a bull rider.
Yeah.
And, and he's out there supporting his homie and then, all the shit they went throughout the whole movie. And he's out there supporting his buddy and he's like, fuck it, I gotta go, and he gets on that FXR rigid and he comes out to the main road and he goes out there and fucking takes a look left and takes a look right and there's that fucking bitch out there and she's hitchhiking, right? And he's like, where are you going? She's like, anywhere you're going, right? So
Yeah.
she hops on the back of that fucking rigid FXR and the only thing I can think of with that scene is like, they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that bitch is lasting 10 miles on the back of that rigid FXR bike.
Yeah.
And you can tell with the scene, there ain't shit out there. You know what I mean? It's like,
Quick
Uh,
lap for the camera.
that's right. That's all.
She's
And
begging
she
to get
even
off.
puts her fucking legs around him,
Yeah.
and
No
sits on her
pecs, yeah.
ass bone. Dude, I gave her 5 minutes.
For sure.
Well, that's the thing about those old movies. Like, I think one of my favorite parts of that movie is when the movie starts. He's, just finished with a chick in Fort Worth, Texas.
Right?
He opens the door to the motel room and there's mountains in the background.
Yep.
I'm like,
There ain't mountains in Fort Worth, Texas.
bro, and so, but what I liked about that movie is that after that initial scene, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to California. And he hops on his bike, and the movie credits are playing as he's traveling to California, right?
Dude, that's a dream.
But that's like
beautiful.
But that's selling the motorcycle dream. But it's kind of like that movie Streets of Fire I just watched last night.
I gotta watch that.
If I watched that in 1984 as a teenager or a young adult, I'm like, bro,
I'm all in.
William Dafoe is a fucking bad motherfucker.
Yep.
I want to be like
I'm
that
getting
dude.
pussy, and I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
myself a motorcycle.
Or if you're,
Isn't he the Green Goblin? William Dafoe's?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same? And he's the
He also
badass in that
played
movie.
Apocalypse Now, I think?
I've seen part of that movie.
Dude, isn't he a weird?
Streets of Fire,
He's
huh?
got a shiny face. He's an older
Shiny
dude.
face.
he's got a big smile.
Yes.
A big mouth.
Joker. Or
No,
what was
no,
he?
no, no.
No, that's Heath Ledger.
No, he William
Joker.
Dafoe's been in a lot of actually good movies. He's
I
Yeah,
think
it's
I
not
know.
like-
Didn't he play in that?
He's a boomer.
There's-
He's a
he's
boomer,
like-
I believe.
There's a detective movie he's in. He's like, and then there was a firefight. Wasn't that? I think that was Running Scared. That movie.
Is that where he
Running
has like a
Scared.
power and he can sense what's going on at the
Yes.
at the
he's
scene?
a detective,
yeah.
And like at the
listens
scene.
to music or something.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we're
That's
talking about the
William
same dude.
Dafoe,
Yes,
yeah.
same dude. Yeah.
He's in a lot.
Good
of movies.
actor. Amazing actor.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't realize he was in a biker movie, but
So what I was getting at is that like if you think about, I think we all got honey dicked into like buying bikes because we thought girls were gonna like be all over us because that. I mean, yes, you get lucky here and there, but it's not like
very
this,
often.
It's not this. It's like you attract more dudes to your
nice
life than
bike,
anything.
homie. Yeah.
But
a bunch of dudes.
I guess my thing is it how like if you really think about in the 80s, you're coming off of 12-ish years of movies that were around motorcycles, from Easy Riders to all the spin-off movies that were made, Angels on Fire and blah blah blah. All these
Right.
little movies that were based on like trying to capitalize off of motorcycle culture, right?
Yeah.
And then there was still that kind of fringe against the society's norms. That's the way you say it. That motorcycles were. So it was kind of like you owned a bike or you got on a bike and you fit in with other bikers. Like you're kind of a badass. Like that's
Yeah.
a society you can't just walk into and be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
David Alcoa song, Harley someday. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, then you get into the 90s and you got like Brian Bosworth with his Stone Cold, I think is what it was. And
Stone. Oh, that's right. I remember that.
yeah, and then you
That's
had
a crazy, cheesy fucking biker movie.
Yeah.
I
Super
can't even believe half the shit that's happened in that movie.
And then you had the one with what's his face? Tiger Blood. Charlie Sheen was in there, where he was like, he had to.
I gotta check that out too.
I forget what it was. It was like, I forget what it was, but it was actually not bad. It was like he had to like go join this biker gang. He was a cop or some shit like that, and get in there. It was actually pretty interesting. But like I said, we haven't really had any like other than Sons of Anarchy, which I would say probably did a lot for a certain type of bike and an age of culture.
Yeah.
But
Nothing in between.
yeah, like think about it. You have a
We had
little.
Renegade. Remember that TV show? Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas. You don't remember that? Yeah, he was on the bike. That's a pretty cool movie or a TV show.
We had
It's
a
90s.
that. Did you ever watch that like Road to Paloma or whatever with Jason Momoa?
No, I don't think I've seen that.
It's pretty good. It was like a movie
heard
he
of
made like a long time ago, but he was on a panhead or something like that, and it's like he's an Indian, and he got framed for murder, and so he's on the run, and it's interesting.
Road to Paloma.
Road to Paloma, I think,
Yeah.
is what it was, and then of course he talked a little bit about on that Rome TV show that he just did on the Rome,
On the Rome, yeah.
which is pretty cool as well. So I don't know. There's cool shit out there. It's just
I'm gonna have
coming.
to watch that Streets of Fire.
Old stuff's the good
you got to
stuff.
watch Streets of Fire with 1984 goggles on. You can't watch
Right.
old movies with like 2024 technology. This is a
Yeah.
40-year-old movie.
I get it.
Grainy
You know?
as fuck.
What was crazy about it is like you could tell that it was all on a set. Like the whole movie was like filmed on a set,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of more obvious now. Like as you get older, it's like you don't know shit. Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I don't know. I'm fucking like crazy. I'm blown away that there's a cartoon in this real life action thing right now going on.
Dude, the crazy thing is to think is that was cutting edge at the time.
Yeah.
Dude, watch the first Matrix. That was groundbreaking, cutting edge technology. And you go watch that shit now, you're like,
Movie magic.
what? Or the worst one is
CGI and all this shit.
Yeah.
Now that like they couldn't do.
The landscape has changed, my friends.
I think the only Matrix that ever like really showed its ass as far as like bad CGI was the last one, the Matrix Resurrection, the last of the trilogy.
Yeah.
That one looked like it was all a fucking video game. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen that one.
I don't even think I watched.
It's not worth
Yeah.
it.
Did y'all
It's like-
realize that Terminator was part of that whole deal? You seen the video with the lady that wrote the script and the book on that stuff? She said that Terminator was the beginning of it. And really, he travels back in time to kill the kid, Neo, before he goes and stops the machines in the future. And like, it made sense once I thought about it, and I was thinking about the plots. I was like, I never fucking knew that. So Matrix and Terminator are the same storyline, same characters. Pretty crazy.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a fucking smoke the weed and hit the
Yeah,
hit
it's
the
like,
rabbit
wait,
hole
wait a
thing.
sec. Wait a second. What? That one definitely will get you. What do you think about it? It kind of makes sense when you look at the plot, storyline, the story there. That's another iconic motorcycle scene there with Arnold on the
fat boy.
Softail. Yeah, the fat
Yeah.
boy with the shotgun.
You need motorcycles in like movies, and it needs to be a part of like culture. And when it is, it kind of like it helps inspire people to want to be on it, because not everybody. It's kind of what I was saying earlier, like the way he came to be into choppers and vintage motorcycles as his first taste of motorcycles. That's not the way most people get it.
Right, exactly.
You know? So you get something, and then you find your way to something that makes the most sense to you.
And that's true. I mean, it doesn't necessarily always have to be like like a movie, but like even if you think back, like old school Happy Days, Fonz, like all the cool guy, he always had a fucking motorcycle.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It's
And
true.
everybody wanted to be the cool guy.
All right, I'm back. You guys,
What's up?
we're back.
Brought the family up this time.
Wherever.
Heck
Did you
yeah.
do a little quick check-in on everybody?
I had to. Yeah.
It's all right. What's up, Jet?
Where we leave off at? Where you
We
guys
were
at?
talking about movies and stuff.
Oh, the movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bike rider will. The bike riders movie will kind of boost the economy a little bit for the motorcycle scene. You know, at least for Harley Davidson, I think.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's all we care about.
Hopefully the vintage scene too.
Yes. I think the vintage scene more.
Yeah.
You know, maybe both.
It could
but
be a double-edged sword. It might
Could be a
make
double-edged
parts go
sword.
up in
Well,
price.
you got to think like a vintage motorcycle is like you. I was literally at power plant spot over there with Saj. Not fuck. Goddamn, what's his
I
name?
forget his name.
power plant side.
Dude from Power Plant.
That's what happens when he's 6 beers in.
Yeah, fuck my bad. Sorry, bud. Yaniv. Sorry.
Yaniv.
So I'm at Yaniv's. I stopped by there earlier this year, and we're hanging out a little bit. And then he had this guy come in that was having him build like a fucking pan or knuckle, something gnarly. I can't remember what the motor was. It wasn't a show. It was older. And just to the night, like all out, right? But this dude that was buying it, dude's got money.
Right.
You could smell it on him, right?
Yeah.
And he is not. I just didn't see him capable of owning that type of bike. He's going to be the guy that buys it, rides it home, and as soon as he gets home, doesn't really understand
Yeah.
how to keep it going. And then the next time he tries to turn it on and go ride it, he's going to have a problem.
Right.
Carburetor's
Right.
going to get gummed up.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So it's one of those situations where I feel like those motors, these bikes will be more attractive to people, but they're going to be a realization of people's aptitude to how much they're willing to invest to
Exactly.
understand these things. They're not like,
Right.
well, I'm into, I want to get an old car and resto mod it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that way it's all turnkey and works great. Like,
They're gonna be
there's
like, I
something.
have to
You
kick
can't
it.
do that to a chopper.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
have to
you know.
kickstart it. I don't know. That's a little too much.
Yeah.
Just thinking something with a
That's-
sweet
that's
little
funny.
button,
That's funny you say that. I'm building this kick-only shovel for this dude, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, 60 one or two, right? An older gentleman. Not that that matters. In most cases, it does, but I can tell that that bike's not going to be ridden unless I go up there and ride it.
Yeah.
You know, when it's done. You know, it's like one of them deals where, fuck, he's not going to know the sequence of the kick. You know,
Yeah.
what to do and this and that. And I can tell him 1,000 times. And some people will be good about it. I just don't see it happening.
Just
You
send
know,
all
he's
those
gonna- he ain't
people to
gonna
the
be
swap
happy.
meet, dude.
Yeah, he ain't
Send
gonna be
them to
happy.
the swap meet.
It's true. He's gonna let the bike sit there for 6 months because he can't start it. And then
Right.
when I go find time to get up there and do it, and clean the carburetor out again for the 4th time, and
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
That's kind of like
it
why
is.
I'm interested in all this stuff. Like why I wanted a carbureted bike, and I don't have enough knowledge to be like, yeah, I can work my way around it. But man, I feel like as a man, I should know. I should be able to fuck with a carburetor.
100%.
Because if the world fucking collapsed,
Yeah.
I can just I can see myself like
Points, carburetor.
I feel
all
like
that
a
stuff,
carburetor is gonna be the way to get around. Like
Yeah.
I'm just I
I'm
don't know.
telling you,
Because you get your computer on your car, or your bike fucked up, and you don't know how to like,
Right.
you know, I don't have a Harley
Reprogram it or
technician
something.
exactly.
program. I'm like,
Scan
well,
tool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fucking turn this into a carburetor real quick.
That's kind of the same experience I'm having too, going backwards in the technology as far as time frame.
Yeah,
I enjoy the older carbureted stuff more now, but started with the twin cam. I just want to challenge myself, learn how to keep the bike on the road, and
Yeah.
get down to the nitty
Yeah.
gritty of the culture, man.
And
Instead
you
of
know,
just-
2002 is the year, or no, 2003 is the last year that you can run a carburetor on a motor for Harley, because everything else switches over to the front crank positioning sensor. And if you got that, then you have to have a sensor to pick up the notches in the crank to know when to tell the
smart.
spark, right?
Yeah,
So anything pre 2002, 2003.
special equipment
Yeah.
to do it. Yeah.
If it has a pickup on the cone nose right there, that's the one you want. Because that's the one you want to carburet.
yeah, yeah.
Everything else sucks because it still have to have a CDI unit to run it, which is a little computer. I mean,
Yeah, so on my motor, like I have the Dynotech on it, Daytona Twin Tech.
yep. They
And
know
it
it's
basically picks up off the crank
yes,
sensor.
it does.
But it also like does something where it like the map sensor as well helps it retard the timing
Yep, it does.
so that it'll you know,
Work.
yep, a
the
little bit
map
better.
sensor is just a glorified VOC.
Yeah, VOC, yeah.
That's just. Yeah.
I never understood what a VOC sensor was and what it
Vacuum
did.
operated exhaust. Or, is that what it is?
Vacuum operated VOES. Vacuum operated.
Exhaust system or something.
No.
Not exhaust, it's on the intake.
Vacuum operated
System?
electronic. Fuck, I can't
Yeah.
believe I know this. I
You're
know
right. It
this,
is attached with the car.
Anyway.
Sure you do.
but electronic advance. Or
Electronic,
because that's what it does. So it takes vacuum and it advances the timing. That's all it does.
I know we deleted that on my FXR.
Yeah, you just take it off and ground out the wire.
Shit
That's
out
all
of
you gotta do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cap something, I think.
Cap the VOES intake.
Did that before the Brooklyn trip. so-
Yeah, that right there will save you a lot of headache.
Headache,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you put a single fire like one of them Ultima single fires,
Mhm.
that'll eliminate everything. You don't even have to run shit. You pick all your own program maps and everything.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It has its own coil, own spark plugs, everything.
Yeah, that's one of the things I try to tell people is like, you know, riding across country on a modern bike, you know, twin cam, whatever, fuel injected, it's got its own challenges, but the same thing is like people have been riding across country on motorcycles forever
Yeah.
on
Forever.
these bikes that didn't make sense. And
Yeah.
so
Total loss system. Feed them oil. all the
you
time.
have to like, I guess you get to a point where you've like gotten used to traveling on bikes across the country that you want that challenge of, well, men before me did this
Right.
on harder motorcycles to do
Right.
it on. I want to know that I could do it as
What makes me different?
yeah.
Prove it to yourself if you got it in you.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's not for everybody, and there's no cool points or whatever. It's not about that. It's just like it's a challenge for yourself. Like I like riding bikes cross country. I know every gas stop from here to LA whether I'm on a bagger or a Dyna or a Softail, depending on my gas tanks, which ones, like I'm familiar with them. It happens so much. And that's kind of a cool thing that I like to say.
Yeah.
It feels good to do that. It almost feels like I have these home stops, these home bases
Yeah.
of gas stations that
That will all
You're
change
familiar.
when you run a 1.8 gallon tank. Dude, I filled up 36 times from here to Idaho
fuck.
Damn.
on a 1.8 gallon. Yeah.
So on my FXR, that was one of the things that everybody was like, dude, what's your gas gonna be like? I'm like, man, I have a 3.8 gallon tank.
Is it that big? It doesn't
It's a
look like
King
it.
Sporty tank Friscoed
Okay.
with the
Okay.
gas cap
Yeah,
moved to the
Friscoed,
top.
yeah.
Cool.
So I get 3.8 gallons, right? So I'm, normal, like just cruising, I'm getting 100, I think about 135 to 140 before the reserve kicks.
It's like my stock FXR, man.
Is that's fuel injected?
No, it's carbureted.
He changed it over to
Okay,
carbureted.
So check this out. There's another aspect to think about. When you run rich, your fuel mileage goes down significantly. So like if you're getting, say if I'm running an S&S carburetor and I got a 1.8 gallon tank and I'm running really good. I'm running, per tank I'm doing 85 miles to the gallon. Or 85 miles.
You're far away.
85 miles to the tank, right?
Yeah.
If I'm running too rich, then I'll get like 60. And then you're like, oh, my gas stops are way different now. What's going on? Because elevation changes and all that shit. It's crazy. That's a whole new aspect when you're running carburetor across country. Dude, it's like you're like, how do I put it? You're fighting something.
Yeah.
Like you're at battle with something, learning and like going through all that stuff. It's crazy. I love it.
It's just it's something else to like be aware of while you're on the road. Like it's the one of the best things about traveling on a bike is that you get to get completely like off in your head and diagnose other shit in life, right? But having something that you need to pay attention to, it gives you like a connection to present.
An out.
Yeah.
There's your out. Yep.
So
It's a really immersive experience to.
It is.
You really have to pay attention to what's going on with the older bike, especially
Yeah.
changing altitude. I luckily didn't have any issues going to Brooklyn with that SCV carb. I don't know what.
if you stay on the main
altitude-
highways, the altitudes don't change that much.
Yeah, we were on back
Unless
roads
you go
the
through,
whole
They
like-
don't
time.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
There's a
CV
couple
carb
spots.
though. I thought about actually running a CV carb on that pan just for reliability because they're so badass. CV carbs are just one of the better carbs that Harley's ever made. And I'm actually considering running an S&S this year, going back to Idaho. Just because I'm tired of fucking with the SU so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to change needles out. It's just so much to worry about. Like,
Right.
I got a dash pot that holds oil. If it runs out of oil, then I'll go too lean and burn a hole in my piston.
Yeah.
I got to keep that full of oil. And I'm running, 500 miles a day. Yeah, dude, it can run out any moment. I wouldn't know it unless I hear a change in my motor.
Yeah.
It's so finicky, those SUs. I mean, it's cool around town, but I think this year I'm going to run an S&S. Just because I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I also want to compare. I want to compare carburetors on
Yeah.
how it does in elevation.
So, Steve, with you got you're with the swap meet situation. Like, run us through what that's looking like now that you're taking over 100% and all that stuff.
Yes, I'm taking over Lone Star Swap Meet, Will Rogers Memorial Center. It'll be February 15th and 16th. So it's been going for a long time, and I'm going to be taking over this year. I've got a partner, Robin Ogg from Filthy Gringos. So for those of you who don't know, it's 25,000 square feet all indoors, Will Rogers Memorial Center. And it's been going on for almost 20 years. This will be my first year doing it by myself. And we're expecting a lot of people to come out. It's going to be a good time. I've already got a lot of sponsors on board, some vendors buying spots. I think we're about 8 or 9 months out on it. But it's the largest indoor motorcycle swap meet in Texas. And now that I'm running everything, I'm looking to bring some new things to the table, some different entertainment, some different aspects, change it up a little bit, bringing some fresh blood to it. So I'm really looking forward to the future for that, and really grateful for Robin's help to do some of the things she's doing, helping me with the contract, insurance, things on the back end, things that make it work. So it's going to be a good time. I hope everybody comes out.
Yeah, I'm still learning the swap meet culture and how to pull that off. Apparently, you're supposed to get there early.
Yes.
Or,
if you're a buyer.
Or you need to be a vendor
Yeah,
to see the
Thursday.
That's the hustle.
If it's a weekend swap meet, you're there Thursday morning.
Yeah.
You know?
And see, this is a 2-day swap meet, and so we'll do unload on Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday's the event. So some of the vendors, we've got, for those of you who know Dustin Sullivan, a lot of people know him. He's a parts pimp from Oklahoma. Yeah.
Oklahoma.
So he's got everything. He does it big, but he buys a spot every year just to get there on vendor setup day to buy whatever he can early. And then he'll just use his spot to kind of stash everything. And
sell,
then he
resell.
sells it online on his eBay store when he gets back home. But that's one of the
Solid
hustle.
dude right there.
He is.
Dusty is fucking badass.
Yeah,
Him and his wife are cool.
That's the hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been hustling motorcycle parts for years, man. He's making a good living on it.
Yeah, he busts his ass.
He
Yeah,
does.
East Texas homie.
Brooks.
Yeah,
Brooks,
so
yeah,
Brooks.
in Blanton.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
my
No, you're good.
beer's just hitting me.
Blanton Cycle Supply.
Hey,
yeah.
we're all
Well,
going through the same shit.
I've been sober for like 3 days, so.
Catching up with you here on Beer 6.
But
Blanton-
Brooks does that shit. It's wild to me, like seeing how certain people find these like really smoking deals on like bikes and stuff like that. But it's like they're constantly looking. I've been looking pretty heavily on bikes that I've been looking for online for like the last month, and I found like 2 smoking deals on bikes.
Yeah.
And I bought them. But usually I only look for a bike whenever I'm in the market for it, right?
Yeah.
So in order to get the good deals, you got to always be in the market and have the money stashed
Ready
on
to
the
spend
side.
money
You know
on
what I
it,
mean?
yeah. A lot of time they're getting bigger lots too, so it's not just like it's like buy everything. I'll
picked
give
up
you
a-
several grand, and they get a steal because they bought the whole lot. You know.
bring 10 grand and you can have all of it.
Yeah,
It's
and they
like,
got
fuck,
30
there's
grand worth of shit. Yeah,
$40,000
exactly.
shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's like
It's a long-term
those kind of
investment.
situations are the best, but you got to be, Robert Cheeks does that stuff a lot,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, he's coming to the swap too.
You got to store it though.
Matter of fact,
That's
he's
the catch.
Yeah,
You got to sell it
that
too.
takes a
Yeah,
lot
store
of
it
room,
and then take pictures and then fucking sell
and it's
that
kind of an
shit.
investment. You're sitting on however many thousands of dollars worth of motorcycles and parts, But
I picked up
all
an
works out.
84 FXRT running and riding.
What?
Looks dusty, but runs and rides, and there's only
Wow.
one crack in the fairing, and it's not even in a stress
Wow.
spot
yeah,
for 55.
really
Yeah,
nice,
in Daytona, Florida. So I'm gonna go pick it up after this trip.
sweet.
T.
Yeah,
A T.
RT, yeah.
Art,
Yeah.
like
Wow.
bags,
Fairing.
fairing, all
Holy
original.
Shit,
all-
hardbacks.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's the clamshell.
It's definitely. I think if all the planets align for me with this thing, I think I'm gonna build something like do an M8 bagger
Yeah, swap.
thing,
Yeah,
like to the 9s,
hell yeah.
Wow.
and
The M8 swap FXR.
yeah,
all
because
built
I
to the
want
hill.
the one downstairs, the 84 down there. I want that to look, feel, and be what it is. Right. I want to look like it doesn't belong in my lineup.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I fucking love riding that bike. It feels so cool. But
bike.
this bike, I think, will be something that'll, if no other thing comes in the way between now and Born Free Texas or Born Free California next year, I'm gonna build this for that. But I don't really have a personal connection to this build, so this will be a bike that I'm gonna build to sell.
Right.
Right. I'll probably ride it to Born Free because I don't believe, me personally, that any bike I ever customize out of the shop has to be able to be ridden to its show.
Yeah.
But I'll ride it to Born Free next year and then either sell it there and fly home, or ride it there and then the buyer shows up and takes it there and I fly home. No matter what, I hope I'm flying home from
Right.
Born Free
Exactly.
next year.
Yeah.
So I got to get better with the business side of customizing bikes, because I built a bike for myself because of all these dreams I have on that bike. I see the bike coming together and I envision myself on Lolo Pass or on PCH or on Cherahola Highway or some shit like that. And I just want to fucking experience that before I get rid of it to give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
But by the time I've done all those things on the bike, it's fucking roached.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
Right.
right.
30,000 miles
Exactly.
on it.
Say, hey, I got
clapped
this
out.
fucking-
He's a top
30
end,
Yeah.
but other than that, it's good.
Clapped out, but
Probably
she's a
not gonna
good
get
one.
home. I would trailer home from here. You know what I mean? So I'd rather. I need to get the responsible side of it. Is like you got to get to this point where I need to learn how to customize a bike and not be so attached to it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
It's hard. It's one
It is
thing
hard.
that I've learned how to do. Yeah, that's hard to do. That's hard. I got, for selling shit, for me, it's like, at first, I never sold anything in my personal stash, but then I just started to pull out of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
God, I regret that so much. I regret it. I don't think anybody should do that.
pull your personal stash.
Personal stash, yeah, I don't. It's not a good idea.
Stuff takes up a lot of room, starts adding.
It sounds
up,
like you're talking from a very,
collecting.
very sore
makes you
open wound right
depressed.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of experience
A
there.
little bit, yeah.
So, with all the event stuff, like how does the events work in towards like the daily grind of like Destroyer Garage? Like how does that all intertwine? Do you feel like you have more of a future in the event side of it because you're hosting great events?
Right. So
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. So I've actually tried to separate the two, between my shop and doing events, and I've actually even thought about maybe just stop working on motorcycles and just doing events.
Yeah.
But I'm not making enough money off events. Like, I mean, potentially you can make 30, 40 G's off one event. And if you do 2 or 3 of those a year, I mean, you're making $100,000.
Yeah.
If you could. But those events have to be badass, top notch. You got the best bands.
A lot of money that goes into that to get to those kind of numbers. Yeah.
Right. To get those kind of numbers and
yeah.
profit. It's easier to just run a motorcycle shop than to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm always open to it. If it ever happened, I'm down. Man, if I can get Nitty Gritty to make $120,000 a year, then that's all I'll fucking do.
Yeah.
The rest of the year, I'll just build motorcycles on whatever,
On your time.
on my time,
Yeah.
and just pay all my bills for Nitty Gritty.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it takes a long time to do that. I'm, eight years?
Yeah.
8 years in
This'll
this,
be
right?
8, yeah.
Fuck.
And you got to start
8
somewhere,
years.
just like anything else. Motorcycle events are not typically the thing you think about striking it big, getting rich. That's something just for the love and the passion of it predominantly.
Right.
So it's more right now just a supplemental income to whatever you have going on until
Shit ain't.
you figure out the method to the madness. But
Yeah.
there's potential. You get enough
Well, what
sponsors
about-
and stuff. But
So what about
he wants
the
to keep it grassroots too. So you don't want to get
the
too-
hardships of like trying to create an event? Like I think that you guys could probably attest to this, that like I created my events out of the necessity of I wanted to have this experience in my own way.
That's exactly
Right?
what I did.
Yeah.
Off of
Exactly.
Southern Throwdown, we could do this in
Exactly.
Houston. We can make this happen. Blah blah blah. Same thing when I went to
Southern Throwdown.
when I went to
Giddy Up.
fucking Giddy
Giddy
Up,
Up, yeah.
like that inspired me with camping to create our camp out, right?
Yeah.
But how do you because the initial drive and love for this thing was created off of the fact of like I just want to create an event to bring all the homies together to have a good time.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Right.
like you don't want the
That's-
fucking party to end kind of vibe,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But then I've been saying a lot to people as we ended the camp out. It's like, look, when I was 35 when we started this camp out, I didn't give a fuck about anything but showing up in those woods, pulling,
And hanging out with my homies.
yeah. And I still want that, but I got fucking bills, brother.
Yeah.
And
got
I'm
so
fucking
much
old.
time.
I got a fucking wife that needs nice shit. I got a kid that wants, to keep up with the Joneses. I got fucking life that I got
Yeah.
Texas inflation because these fucking Californians won't
Yeah.
go away.
That's real shit.
Right?
That's
That's a whole nother story.
that totally true, right? And putting on an event takes so much work and dedication, and a lot of people don't even see that. A lot of people see the 4 or 5 days or whatever
Yeah.
when they go to the event, but they don't
See a
see
year
the
worth
6
of-
months or to a year of what leads up to that. Dude, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
I
Ton
feel
of
like I
time.
got to get paid for that.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to get paid for that. And if, if people don't want to pay the $100 to get in, that's their deal.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a lot
but
of entertainment we're providing, a lot of thought,
dude,
love, and effort that
for
goes
$100
into
bucks
that.
to get
you know?
in, like you get a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you get the whole facility to yourself. You get 4 bands. You get the, there's a bar there. There's a.
You're getting your
You
money's
know?
worth for sure, and
For
it's experience.
sure,
It's
for
different than
sure.
other. Even though there's a lot of people doing events, it's definitely a different experience.
I'd like to see some kind of revenue from that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like I've said before, there's always going to be a guy out there somewhere making money off of any kind of event. If if it's not me promoting, coordinating, and hosting events, there's going to be
Right.
another guy that's doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
if I can be a part of the community and culture and add something to it, if not, I'll get out the way. But that's
someone else
kind
come
of
to it.
that's
Yeah.
kind of my deal. Is I think I can add something to it for a while. Let me make a run at it,
Yeah.
and see if I can't add some quality to it.
And I don't think we mentioned, but Steve is actually our new partner for Nitty Gritty. We just established that last week.
Yeah, about a week.
And so it's me, Robin Ogg, Ronnie Ogg, and Steve Bradford. And I think between the 4 of us, we could put on a badass show.
Yeah.
We did last year. Steve did most of the work, to be honest. I did probably.
We had about
least
90
of it.
days run at that one by the time agreement, contract, insurance, all the things got to where we could tell the public. We had about 90 days for that, and I think we had just short of 600 people show.
Well, there more than that. Though.
Well,
It was like
it's
650.
going back to what I was
650.
saying earlier. It's like instead of trying to figure out how to put something else there,
Yeah.
like why not? I would love to. I don't need anything out of it, but I would love to help bring something from my world to this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's better than like trying to like creating a whole nother event to take people away
Right.
from one event. Like, let's just bring
Dude.
more people to one.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what I've been
Yeah.
saying for a while.
That's what
Yeah.
with me and Sahar, we bring people into like our buddy Robert Letty painted a tank like a wall hanger for
Yeah.
for a gift to give away. If you wanted to paint a tank or
I
like a
don't- no,
wall
I don't
hanger
wanna- I
or
don't do that,
whatever.
no.
Good. That's what I want.
I hate painting.
But
Just come
whatever.
out and party and hang
but
out,
if you
bring
want to
some
come
friends,
out
man,
and just
like-
support and just be there
Yeah.
and show your
My
face, that's
milkshake-
all I
My
want.
milkshake brings all the boys to yard. brother.
Okay, then bring
it.
your boys. Bring the milkshake, homie.
So no, I just badass. Like I was too like green in this industry whenever I got to hang out and be a part of a Nitty Gritty, right? So I couldn't. No, not fuck.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
Sorry, it's so easy to
That's
say Nitty
good.
Gritty right
that
now. 'cause
you're
it's on your hat and
associating us
everything.
with one of the best events that's happened.
So now I know Cano. I know Matt
Jackson.
Jackson.
I know
Sorry.
these guys. What's their name?
Sorry, dude, I haven't drank
It's
in a
all
while.
good, dude.
So I know all these guys now, and I
Yeah.
know these connections. Where it's like before, I didn't know. They showed me a fucking badass part of being a part of motorcycle culture, right? And so now I'm looking at like, okay, well, I like these events. I like this cool, and I like that I have to go through the anxiety that I went through creating our event.
Yeah.
But I do want more of the homies to come be a part of this, And it's like a lot of our world wants to go to Daytona. And I keep telling you, you're wasting your time and your money. You're not going to ride anywhere. If you're not going to ride anywhere, you might as well just stay here.
Yeah.
Keep
So-
it in Texas. Yep.
Stay here. Keep your money here. Keep your time here.
Yep.
We, I remember me and Haney fucking
Josh.
were
Justin
like one of the
Justin.
last
Yeah.
people asleep on Saturday night, I think, at Nitty Gritty this year.
Shit.
We were in the downtown area. I think we made some dude cry from somewhere. It was
Actually,
I was too drunk.
I know the other side of that story.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say any names.
We're not naming names,
But
damn.
I already know about it.
Okay.
I already know about it.
Because
I can't wait to
I'm
hear
a
it.
chatty fucking Kathy dude when I'm
Okay.
drunk.
All right.
And we're out walking around. We're looking for campsites to raid, coolers to raid, all that type of shit. And we ended up doing like 2 loops around the whole, because you had that long stretch, and then you had like there's a little bridge to go across the water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we did a loop back to our campsite, which I was staying with Adam and those dudes up on top of the hill,
Okay.
behind the main stage there.
Yep.
Yep.
And so then we got whatever we had in the cooler left, and then we went to the city, the downtown part.
Yeah.
And there was a couple people, like the tattoo guys were getting done, and some people were still hanging out there. And I'm at this point now where I'll talk to anybody about anything.
Right.
And so from what I remember, which I don't remember much about this, I was told about it afterwards, that like some dude came up and was super like wishy-washy about being into bikes and emotional, blah blah blah. And I told him to like stop being a bitch and grow up. And you're here, you're doing it, you're fucking here right now. Like be about it, blah blah blah. And he started crying and shit. And then I just lost interest and walked away. And then some other
Hurting
shit.
feelings.
Yeah.
I heard the other side of that.
What was it? I just made him cry. What happened?
You were spot on.
Okay.
And he said the same thing. He's like, man, I was a bitch. I'm like, really? He's like, I just got too drunk, man. I couldn't handle it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay.
That's funny. I know.
It's
you're
good.
not-
I didn't.
You're glad to know you didn't make that dude reevaluate his life decision.
But no, there's
Okay,
no
yeah.
kind of, no kind of, what's the word?
He's over his butthurt.
He's over it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He doesn't- had no-
My intention was.
He's not holding animosity.
I didn't
No,
wake up
no
that day and go, I'm
holding
making
on.
some dude cry at this event. Like, it
It
was
just
not
happens
that.
like that
It just
sometimes.
happens.
But I'm a fucking
I was
passionate dude.
downtown, and it was like right there by where the Texan Hotel was,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
I know exactly.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny times. So I did that.
That was this guy. That was him.
Dad, you almost stepped on Little Richie.
Huh?
You almost just stepped on Little Richie.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You know you did, but you just couldn't.
He'll be all right.
So, outside looking in, like, so I host that show.
Yeah.
I need some kind of rapport on, like, so what did you think of the show? How can I make it better? Like, what
He
did
wants
I...
constructive criticism, unlike a lot
I
of other
love,
people.
I
that-
love
So
that.
I wish,
Give
I
it to
wish
me.
that we would have got to come the day before because we only got to go one night. I think we showed up Saturday morning, stayed all day
Oh,
for
yeah.
Saturday, and so I didn't. I think it was pouring rain the night before though,
Yeah,
right?
you didn't want to be there on Friday.
The dirt
it worked
drags
out.
were fun. I think that was like my first time actually being like in the mix of a dirt drag.
Got some pictures I saw.
Those are the most sketchy dirt drags you'll ever experience.
I'll probably use a shot I got of you on the dirt drags or a shot of y'all. You getting the fucking hot dog.
That was a good one.
That was
Honestly,
embarrassing.
it felt like a close like representation of what I would have felt like it would have took place in the 80s and 70s, right?
That's what I was.
That's the
You know what I'm
goal.
saying?
Exactly
Yeah.
what I was looking for.
And honestly, the simplicity of like people got to understand how to party in these things.
Yeah.
The party, it's like
It's season.
look,
you got to have.
it's an
seasoned veterans.
opportunity. It's an opportunity. The opportunity is if you know how to party. If you don't know how to party in these type of events,
You're out the first night.
join a clique.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
So when you see me and Haney walking around raiding coolers,
Right.
know we're onto something.
Yeah,
Right?
There's something going on there.
We're fucking walking up and listening to some dumb dude's fucking great story about his fucking life.
Hey man, you want a beer?
Yeah, finally.
Fuck yeah, I'll take. Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll take
That's
a beer.
all I wanted, dude.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm
night.
talking to you right now.
You're gonna pay the admission by hearing the story and get the beer. Yeah.
And you crack it. All right. Good story, bro.
All right, later, man.
And there was a lot of little circles there, a lot of different little cliques of.
There was.
Everybody knew each
Dude,
other for the
I will
most
say
part,
this.
but there's
One
a
of
lot
the
little
one of the
parties.
things I didn't think would be cool, not because I don't care or anything like that. It's just, in the mind, I'm like, we're going there to watch what? Watching Danger Dan
Oh fuck yeah!
and all them play on the treehouse, and
Yeah.
then knowing that they commandeered the treehouse from somebody
That was sleeping there?
sleeping
He was
there.
already sleeping there.
And then going
were
down there
cool
and
with
sitting
it.
down there and watching it, I was like, okay, this is badass.
Yeah.
And we also
Yeah.
all jumped in the back of a truck and had to like scurry through the fucking woods to get there.
Right.
And me and Terry Shanks were there together, and he was like hanging
I
out.
fucking love that dude. That dude.
He's a cool cat, man.
I've never met him before until then.
Yeah.
And I've always anticipated that moment, but dude held up every expectation I had of him, and dude, he's rad. I love
100%,
him. He's
yeah.
cool, yeah.
So we got to go over there, and it was just like everything was. It was cool because, like, yeah, I had my preconceived notions of what I want to experience or think of or whatever, but it's like, when you get to those events and you see somebody else that they got the groove, you just get in their groove, man. You don't try to create your own groove in an event that you're not used to being at.
Right.
You find somebody else that's got it, and you just join in and become an Indian, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
that's
Just be a
right.
part of it. And that's kind of what happened. And then it seemed like there was 3 waves of like after hours partying. There was like somebody was doing some fucking music down the
Travis
drive.
Bolt.
Yeah, Travis
Dude,
Bolt by
fire.
Brooks.
Bad as
Good
shit,
ass,
huh?
good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. We raided some coolers over there.
Right. Yep.
Good music, man. Yeah, that's good. And cheers.
That's Mike.
Oh, man, I'm
That's
out.
Mike Moore. Mike Moore.
Mike
Thank you,
Moore,
sir.
Brooks. Yeah.
Brooks. Thank you, sir.
I think that I think that it was all good. I think that the only thing that you could do is just try to act on how you felt at it, because I think the way you guys feel at it is a bigger testament than the way we feel about it. Because if you say, hey, what do you think about it? People are going to look for something to complain about.
Give it.
But yeah, you're looking though. Like the problem is, I'm coming to your event because you curated something that I want to be a part of. You know, it's your experience, like the way that you like it and want it, and I'm getting your version of motorcycling, right?
It's kind of like the artistic.
If I
value.
wanted to be my version of it, then it would be my event.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to show me what you think is cool about this shit,
Well-
and the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
And
we
have to see value in
shadow
that. There is a-
there,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
because I'm putting the event on for my homies, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I want the best event for them. So, whatever they think that.
you had everything everybody could want. You had a swap meet. You had a bike show, which I didn't really know when or where that took place.
It was the
that-
downtown when they were lined up. Yeah.
So, I'm going to confess something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody knows this, but I had $1,500 in awards to give away on Sunday,
Custom
but everybody
trophies.
left before Sunday. So
But we're
maybe
learning,
this
you know?
this next year I give awards away on Saturday
Saturday night.
at
Sunday,
5
it
or
doesn't matter
6
who you
o'clock,
are or what
right?
you're doing. Sunday, everybody's going home.
yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's going. Well,
And-
not,
and-
not every
Conroe-
case.
At Conroe,
Not
they
every
would stay
case.
around Sunday and even Monday
Dude,
a little
yeah,
bit.
if they
in
Every
live
Conroe.
there.
nitty gritty,
Yeah.
because nitty gritty was normally on Sunday.
Yeah.
That was the event, and the pre-party was Saturday. So
Yeah.
people would stay to Sunday. So I figured, well, people are just going to stay to Sunday. There's no problem.
But
Dude,
we
I woke
figured
up,
it out
everybody's
now.
fucking
If
gone.
people are
yeah.
traveling, they're not, which at that place, people are not. It's
closer to
It's not in the
town.
backyard of Houston anymore.
Right.
It's not in the
Yeah.
backyard of Dallas. So
Correct.
we're getting home.
Yeah,
That's
we're
right.
leaving,
You know what I
we're
mean?
jamming. We're jamming.
Definitely
And
giving away trophies.
The biggest
Saturday
party night, everybody goes hard the first night they show up. And so that's
Yeah.
the one thing that I've.
That's Thursday night for me.
Yeah.
So it was Thursday night for you. It was Friday night for
Friday.
my other homies. And then it was Saturday night because that was my day I got there
That's right.
for me and my homies.
That's right.
So it's like the first night of the event is typically going to be your rager. So you need to like structure all your party aspects around the fact that everybody's going to lean the fuck in at that point in time. So,
Right.
Yeah. No, it was a good event, man. It'll be good.
Are you going to go next year?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, get your pool.
You want one?
Sure.
All
We
right,
ought to be
do
able
it.
to do a lot more with it now that we have, 9 months instead of 90 days.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of different things that we wanted to incorporate, and we just didn't have enough time. I wanted to do, it's got the downtown Western theme. I thought it'd been cool to bring in the little animatronic
Take
bull
that
or whatever,
whiskey.
bull rides, and I saw they did that at Southern Throwdown recently. I was
The
like,
bull
"Dang."
ride would be cool to get women involved in this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Topless.
I don't want to see a
Women.
dude on there
Topless.
Wouldn't mind doing
riding
wet-
a bull
wet
really
t-shirt
well.
contest,
Like
I
that's
don't know.
gay as AIDS, dude. I don't want to do that.
I did talk to Ives Brothers in Tennessee, and I did tell them about the show,
Yeah.
and they gave me a price. And
So
I
we
think
need some
I think
sponsors
it's
to come in to.
I think it's reachable for sure. So it'd be good to have the wall
I
of
know what
death
it
out
is.
there, wall of death, and the bull riding, and then we
Yeah.
have a burnout competition.
There was
we
a
have a drag
ton of
races.
other things we wanted to do. We were wanting
Man,
to get
fire
some
breathing. I mean, anything like. And I was
the
thinking
painted
about,
topless chicks on Longhorns. That was a dope idea.
Dude.
Man, I'm just saying.
dude.
The beer burros, little miniature donkeys with beer satchels, walking around
Yeah.
selling beer. That was a
then
great
having-
idea.
And then having what? And then having like so what do they call them, the what's it called, the whirly bird or whatever, you pull it behind a four-wheeler and you take like a Ford 9-inch rear end, you put the drive shaft up and you weld a seat to it,
Oh,
and then whoever
yeah, I've
lasts the
seen those.
longest gets like a $50 reward or whatever.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty.
think
That's
that would
pretty
be
wild.
cool.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think we'll bring back the burnout pit again.
Bring the burnout pit. Yeah, we'll have many man.
We're gonna do some more
5.
games, I think, this year too. I've got some ideas, because the hot dog deal went over well. Everybody seemed to love that.
That was done by Bobby and Sarah Client, by the way. That was that. They
I don't think
put
I've
that
met
shit
them.
on.
Yeah.
They are so cool, man.
Yeah.
Bobby's part of Outcast CC Car Club.
Okay.
Really good friend of mine,
Yeah.
and his wife Sarah. quiet,
Old
beautiful,
school
and
biker games
badass.
like that. People just like that shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's interactive.
Between that and then I've seen that I always think is cool when I do see it online is when they do like the keg push with the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
rad if you got the grass to do it.
Yep.
I think that interactive
The
stuff's
cake
real
push
fun.
is always a good one. You
Right,
can even
it's just-
you can even do it on asphalt if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder. Right?
Oh yeah.
Another crowd pleaser, it's real entertaining, fun, is Honey, I'm Home. I don't
What's
know if-
that?
So I saw that at the Oklahoma family reunion a couple years ago. Went up there with Nick and Nate and Jesse and the guys. So it's basically a race where they have like clothes that are 3-4 times your size. You lay down on your back. It's like overalls or pants and a shirt, a button up. 2 guys lay on their back. They jump up, put on the oversized clothes, run to their motorcycle, and push it to a designated line and back. So it's like a foot race, but you got to push your bike with 5X clothes on. And so, like when we saw it at Oklahoma's
What if
family
you got a little
reunion,
Sportster though.
well, you're
So
still
you
having to
gotta push
keep
it
up your
back.
clothes. You're still having to keep up your clothes the whole time and all this. And then they gave away a knife from Nick a couple years ago when I
cool.
went on my dad's shovel head. So
Kick
like people are
ass.
going back and forth, pushing their
That's so
bikes,
cool.
trying not to pass out.
That's so cool.
It's 100 degrees in July. So that's a pretty good little competition. I think we should do that one. It's really entertaining. Gets people engaged. People love doing it. But I think that's kind of a nod and a wink to the older 70s, 80s, motorcycle culture, just partying in a field.
History repeats itself, and I think that if we just bring back that aspect of just being grassroots and doing the shit they did
it'll
back
work
in
out,
the
yeah.
80s, then
Yeah.
I think we got no problems.
Yep.
Because that's all I really want. I don't want to make a bunch of money off of it.
Right.
I mean, although it'd be good too, but I just want my homies to have fun.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
the first
really.
priority.
Yeah.
Being able to have a good time with our friends, provide and cater to the motorcycle industry and
Yeah.
community without going broke doing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because it does add
Did y'all
up,
do
but it's
vendors
fun.
there other than swap meet vendors?
We did.
Okay.
I think we had only about close to 30 vendors or so, 30, 35. And it was a mix, about 50-50. We had some jewelry and apparel, different makers and things that weren't specifically
Jewelry,
motorcycle
I think
parts.
We had 2 jewelers,
Yeah.
a couple knife makers. We had Ride Your Shit that come in.
From Brooklyn. Yep.
Kickstart might set up a swap meet booth.
Yeah.
I think we had also
Robert Cheeks, Brooks. We had Cherokee
yeah,
Chapter come out and
Cherokee
set up
Chapter
some
come out
stuff.
with
Michael
them.
Dews.
Yeah. Michael Dews brought out the half pipe. That was kick ass.
Yeah, the Texas
That,
Mini
When it
you
ramp.
call it a half pipe,
competition.
dude.
He's
That-
made it a little bit bigger
It
since,
doesn't
all right?
matter. It was a half pipe.
I saw the half pipe. I was like, I'd fuck with that. And then I saw that
In
there
person?
was no time to fucking like
Transition.
adjust.
He added like 3 feet in the middle, but
By
he's-
the way-
he has a whole skate park now. They're like 6
By the
foot,
way,
8 foot ramps.
One
Just a
thing I
skate
do
park for
want-
ants.
One thing I do want out of this show is I want a complete half pipe there.
We're gonna have
and
one this next year.
Half pipe competition with an award, a substantial
Yeah.
award
That'd be
for
fun.
that.
I've already got the sponsor
Like a
for
full
that.
mini ramp or a half pipe.
Like a full ass mini ramp.
Mini
Like,
ramp would be cool.
We've
no,
got-
half pipe.
yeah.
You
Mini ramp,
know,
half pipe.
Nate Smith. He owns
I
the
seen
Point
it today.
Skate Shop.
Yeah.
So he's going to sponsor it again. And Michael Dews said he'll
I
bring
wanna
out the
meet that
6
dude.
foot.
Nate's cool as shit. Yeah. He's good.
Michael Dews will bring out the 6 foot half pipe.
Yep, that's what I
He's
want.
got like a transition and stuff. We just have to figure out enough sponsor funding.
They have a
to
drop-in
get- to
competition
get
for
him.
people that don't skate.
Oh,
That'd be
that
fun
would
to
be
watch.
great. Sign extra
Oh,
waiver for
would
that.
Be pretty fun.
So it's just gonna be the
That's a
logistics.
good idea.
Once we figure out the logistics of getting that big ass ramp down there to the event property, that's the main thing.
You have to do it in 4 pieces.
Right.
Yeah, it's not
And then
like
there's
and then you
time
gotta
to set it up,
there,
and yeah. So
So basically,
we'll just have to pay him for his time and efforts, and we'll make it happen.
we need
but
to
it's
start.
all-
We need to
it'll
start
happen.
setting this shit up on like Tuesday
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
If we're gonna have all of these, and if we have I Brothers come out, they set up on Tuesday too.
Right.
You know, everybody comes in on Tuesday, and
Yeah.
that's just kind of how it.
I'll just
works.
probably be out there the whole week trying to get ready for everything
Yeah.
because I've got to measure the spots for the vendors.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff
a
to
lot
do.
goes into it. So,
Yeah. It's fun.
so what's the dates next year?
It's going to be March 20th through the 23rd, Salmon Lake Park, Great Plains, Texas.
Hell
Nitty
yeah,
Gritty
it's gonna be a
Chopper
good time.
City.
Nitty Gritty
So
Chopper
and
City.
we're still waiting for confirmation for whatever's going to happen at Lone Star with the high tide and all
Yes,
that.
we are still in standstill with that. I mean, I should know in at least a month.
Okay.
Within the month, I think. You know.
And then
Hopefully, we're gonna have it.
yeah, I think it worked
wouldn't
last
it?
year. Why wouldn't they do it? You know,
It was
and
it was a hoot. You know.
And then so next year or this year next year we have February we'll be doing the Lone Star swap meet here at Will Rogers. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Will
There.
Rogers Memorial
Will
Center in
Rogers
Fort Worth.
Memorial, yeah.
It's
That'd be
exhibit
good, man.
building.
I went last year. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I went to. I got I popped my swap meet cherry there.
Really?
Yeah, I got 2 things. I haven't even touched them
Fuck,
since I
man.
got back.
Dude.
I think I bought a helmet from somebody and then a tank that Daryl sold the night before
Oh, really?
that I ended up picking up.
Rebuy.
I
Yeah.
rebought
That's
it,
funny.
Yeah.
repurposed it. So,
That's a good one.
but yeah, it'll be good, man. It's good that you guys are doing stuff here in Texas and bringing more opportunities that are, good feels. I mean,
Letting people get their name out there.
Yeah.
You know, and build a bike, come and check it out, hang out, and people like it.
Mhm.
Cool. You know.
We'd love to get some more people involved
I
too.
love
So if you guys are watching, you guys want to be involved, reach out to us.
Oh yeah, we're videotaping. I
Yeah, we
keep
are,
forgetting
yeah.
to look at the camera.
There's plenty of opportunity for
Nobody's ever gonna watch this far.
Probably not.
I might.
105 views currently.
How much?
Yeah.
105 people watching.
Oh
right now.
really? Really?
105 people.
So back to what I was saying, we got plenty of opportunities. If you guys want to be involved with the events, hit us up. Destroyer
Yeah.
Garage, Manik Productions.
Straight up. If you guys want to contribute, bring it. We're down.
Bring some cool shit.
Yeah.
Bring some cool shit.
Bring all your
sponsor,
friends.
Fucking just bring your party. Bring your own individual party. you
That's
know?
what this event is like. It feels like a giddy up vibe. It feels like what our camp out was, where you can come to this event. There's all these things going on that you can partake in or not. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But you can bring your fucking commune, if you will, and set up and do whatever you want to
Bring
do.
your kids.
Yep.
You know, bring their BMXs, and they can all ride around, and they can hang out with Jet if
Yeah.
they want to. You know.
Yeah, they did a good number at the swap meet. Did all the shining parts and bought that bike,
Yeah.
and then rode it around the swap meet.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I bought a Diamondback for $100.
Sweet.
That's
You
it.
know, he's the one that throws that event.
Yeah, that was my event.
That was
Yeah.
his event.
Sick.
Yeah.
I
That's
did
pretty
not know
cool.
that.
Pretty cool to be a part of the memory, you know.
Yeah.
See you out there hustling and buying a bike and then riding around. Then you had it out at Nitty Gritty, right?
Mhm.
Seen
And
you
then
out
I
a few
got-
times.
I got so used to no brakes that I'll have one of my friends' bikes that has brakes, and then I'm like,
Use the foot. That's how we used to do it.
I have brakes.
Yeah.
It's a real chopper shit.
What the hell are these?
Yeah.
This is my break.
That's how we did it in the 80s and 90s. Just use your foot as the brake.
This
on
pussy ass shit up here on the handlebars.
My mom used to get down my shit. Why are you breaking with your shoes? Are you going through shoes every
I
week?
have to pay for those, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I already got
Good old
my
mom.
rocks all messed up by doing it.
Man,
Name of the game, son.
that is
I
correct.
can't remember which one.
Costs money to be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be cool?
If cool was cheap
Yeah.
and easy,
Everybody
well,
be doing
I'd
it.
be cool.
Exactly. We'd all be cool.
Well, hey, I appreciate you guys doing this, man. Steve, thank you for linking this together. It's good to finally get to meet you and talk about this. I really
Likewise.
did 100% thoroughly enjoy Nitty Gritty last year. I've enjoyed it
Fuck
the years
yeah.
before, but this one was a breath of fresh air
Fuck yeah.
in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the feeling, the vibe, the venue, the whole thing. And, like I said, you doing the swap meets, taking over. It's good to see our generation of people taking over these things that take place in the motorcycle culture so that we have, a connection to each other and a say in how
Yeah.
things go down. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm excited, man. It's good to see what we're going to do in the next 20 years together
I'm
doing
looking
this type
forward
of
to
shit.
it.
So
20 years, we're still going to be doing the same thing.
I'm going to be doing it.
right.
I don't know
Yeah,
what y'all going to
yeah.
be doing. I'm going to be doing
Yeah.
this shit.
I'm going to start getting face tattoos and shit, so I don't have a choice. I'm going to have to be a derelict and work at a motorcycle shop.
Right.
It's coming soon.
It's coming soon
All
to
right,
a
well,
theater near you.
we appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for having us
Thank
on,
you
man.